thought, I've decided the right thing for the Bureau is for me to serve until the end of the current administration in January and then step down. This is not easy for me. I love this place. I love our mission, and I love our people. But my focus is, and always has been, on us and on doing what's right for the FBI.
Boo! Boo! Boo, Chris Ray.
Can't say that I blame him, though.
I don't blame him either.
I think he's being a wiener. I'm with
is.
Allison Gill on this one. He said Chris Ray is weak. He wanted to block Garland's search of Mar-a-Lago. He oversaw an FBI that refused to execute Garland's search warrants for the architects of the coup, and now he's obeying in advance by resigning like a coward. Don't let the door hit you, jerk. Thank you. It further normalizes this. The firing of an FBI director, Trump appointed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's no reason except what's his usual whining? The FBI illegally raided my home without cause.
No, they
Okay,
didn't.
if anything, Chris Wray needs to at least correct the record. This makes it look like, confirms what all this crap that Donald Trump says has any validity, which it doesn't. How about this part of his trough? Kash Patel is the most qualified nominee to lead the FBI in America's history.
That's debatable.
This is the new reality we're going to live in. Sure. Captain Crazy Eyes is the most qualified. I agree with a lot of people think it's cowardly. It is obeying in advance.
Yeah.
Trump appointed him because James Comey, who basically handed the election to Donald Trump with what he did to Hillary, he wasn't enough of a suck-up because he admitted what at least all of the Republicans on the Senate Intelligence Committee did, that Russia interfered to help Donald Trump in 2016, so he had to go. And I agree with Allison. I think Chris Wray has been incredibly weak in terms of protecting Trump. And yet, at least he's in some realm of normal. At least when asked about facts and figures, he will say the truth that 90-something% of our violence is right-wing extremist, white supremacist violence.
Right.
You won't find anybody that'll tell you the truth on that anymore. No. They'll say it's all, trust me, January 20th, it's all going to be left-wing lunatic violence. That's the number one threat to America, right?
We're not going to have any realm of normal for the next 4 years.
Yeah. Oh, no, I know.
That goes without saying. We might as well just strap ourselves in for that.
Yeah. Normally, I like a good strapping in, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh, do you?
Oh, the Stephanie Miller Show has some corrections before we begin.
What do we do now?
We have to cover yesterday's corrections before we can move on with our new mistakes.
Who made a mistake?
This is like my love life. What?
I'm wincing because usually it's me.
I don't. Maybe this. I think we all got there together on this one.
All right.
Cat, Blue Sky, just an FYI, Kylie Kelsey is Jason Kelsey's wife, not sister.
Yes, his wife.
Travis's sister-in-law.
You said
Hashtag sporting the sport.
You said it was a sister.
The Stephanie Miller regrets the error.
I originally thought it was a wife, but
all we care is she's the new #1 podcast, and our point is, girls, she beat the stupid, what's the Rogan?
Although
whoever.
She's in trouble for what she said on her podcast.
What did she say now?
I don't care. I want girls to run the world.
She said that she doesn't get her husband to help with the children in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, all right. Boo to her, too. Boo to you. Boo to Chris Ray.
Whenever,
oh, really?
Whenever
That's going to be the #1 podcast. There's only women that say like that?
Someone asked her, who takes care of the kids when you're doing your podcast? And she says, I call in a babysitter or something. And then they said, doesn't your husband help? No.
Oh, dear. No. All right, Jody, time for you to quit your job. Go home and take care of those cats like a good little lady. And get some. Does Lonnie have breakfast yet? Why don't you make him breakfast?
I read that in People magazine this morning.
I haven't read
you
People
do
magazine in 40
that and
years.
Connections. I thought you did some meaningful work
Did you do
here for the
Connections
show.
today?
It's on hold.
It's weird.
For what is?
The
Connections
today. It's not words.
Oh,
it's pictures.
God. It's pictures.
How will we? Oh God, should we put on a best of and go
I
home?
got yellow and green, but I didn't get the other two.
All right, listen, people. I'm going to need my Luigi Mangione for these corrections. We have several corrections regarding Luigi Mangione.
Regarding People Magazine, it was
Yes.
served up on my Apple News app.
I don't
So-
need your lame excuses for your shallow, fluffy life. Reads People Magazine, then goes to the gym, and then poses naked on Instagram. That's his whole day.
Okay.
All right, these corrections involve... Just kidding. You know, I get bitchier and bitchier the closer we get to vacation.
Yes.
That's not my Luigi Mangione music.
I can't find it. It
Oh,
left.
for God's sakes. All right. I have several Sopranos-related corrections.
All
Thank
right.
you, Twitter and Threads and Blue Sky.
Okay.
I need my music. This is correction music, but it's specifically in relation. Billy says, Steph, the Bada Bing had bar food. The Sopranos crew ate Italian at Vesuvio. Via Luigi with Mangione sauce. Stephanie Miller Show regrets the error. You are correct. The Bada Bing was the bar. That's not where they had the pasta fagioli and the menagatti.
I know I didn't make that error because I've never seen The Sopranos.
I've watched one episode.
You made another error, however. Leonard Riccardi, said, Steph, you see my name? I got a vowel at the end of it.
Oh, boy.
You could have used Italian stereotypes. You better get them right. Secondi does not come before the menagatti. It's anapasta. Primo, which is pasta or risotto. Secondi, meat or fish.
Right.
Contomi, side dish. Dolce, dessert. Now let's eat.
Why didn't you confirm all this with Frank Figluzzi yesterday?
I should
know.
have. I should have.
He could have been very
He
helpful.
did
Yes.
point out what self-respecting Italian eats at McDonald's. He should have been over it somewhere.
His last name ends with an I. It ends with a vowel.
I did not know that was the order of Italian dishes. That is good
Well,
to know.
primo, then secondi.
Secondi, yeah.
Yeah, I knew that.
Antipasta first, primo, secondi, contori, dolce. Yeah.
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 See.
And then the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie. That's the whole way.
Something.
Okay. I feel like you need to play Snap Out of It, like in Moonstruck. Stop it. Stop speaking. Okay. Where was I? Oh. Snap out of it. I still hear Italian music in my...
You do?
Okay. Yes. Okay. By the
Your earphones are weird.
Yeah,
Because
something's-
nobody else in the world
I don't
hears
know
yeah,
that.
you guys programmed them to make me crazy. Like this is like gaslighting. This is like the movie Gaslighting, but the basement radio version. Yeah, Eve over there is trying to make me go woohoo, woohoo, so she gets to take over sooner.
The Stephanie Miller Show would like to make a correction.
Oh, another one?
The movie is called Gaslight, not Gaslighting.
Pardon me. The Stephanie Miller Show regrets the error. And now, on to the secondi, the second course of the out of the gate. But Liz makes a great point on the where is this? The Twitters. If the GOP would stop blocking Medicare for all public option and trying to kill the ACA with no effing plan to replace it, i.e., back to insurance companies being able to deny everything and perpetually hike premiums, we'd all be better off. Medical bankruptcy shouldn't be ubiquitous. Thank you. As we said on day one of this, we're the only ones trying to do anything about gun violence or about this ridiculous healthcare system we have. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Okay. Oh, this just in, by the way. This, I believe we reported this towards the end of the show yesterday, the Nancy Mace quote-unquote assault. Oh, my God. How long did that take to fall apart?
A day.
The person who supposedly quote-unquote assaulted Nancy Mace was just a foster youth advocate who literally did nothing more than shake her hand and ask her to please respect trans rights. That was it.
Yep.
And now she, like every little whiny little right-wing bitch, ow, it was broke my arm. She said, right? She said, I was assaulted by a pro-trans somebody. First of all, most of us that are decent people are pro-trans, meaning we want everyone, just people to live their life in peace.
Right.
It wasn't a trans person. She goes, oh, some pro-trans. Right. Most decent people are pro everybody being able to live their life in peace.
Right.
Oh, my God. All right. I need my Lincoln Project this morning. He's, to your point, Christopher.
What?
They said the Trump transition and administration has already been marked by chaos, division, incompetence, and stupidity. Speaking of strapping in, they will soon be looking for somewhere to lay the blame, and we have to make sure it falls on them. They own this nightmare. This is what they've created. They also said the translation into another Trump term is already an unmitigated disaster, scandal after scandal already piling up. The Republicans have nobody to blame but themselves. The chaos, the corruption, and crisis, they own all of it. Speaking of, let's start learning how to alpha liberal better now. Because he's going to, first of all, they're already going, look how great the economy is. Even because, I guess, right, because we voted for Trump. Oh my God. I mean, and that's going to keep happening because a lot of stuff that Biden has done, it's going
taking
to
years.
Yes, the benefits are going to kick in, and then on cue, Trump's going to go, "See ya, I alone can fix it. Look what I did." Was that I'm not even doing the impression right anymore. I've lost the will to live.
Yeah. We're almost at vacation.
Yeah, we are. We're crawling to the finish line next Friday. Okay. All right. Happy Chris Mahana Kwanzaa for the first time from the
Yes.
Stephanie Miller Show, by the way. It's what we officially celebrate, Nancy Mace. Happy holiday to everybody of every religion.
It's okay if you're Muslim, a Christian, or a Jew. It's okay if you're agnostic and you don't know what to do. An all-inclusive celebration with eggnog for lubrication. Happy Christmas, Hanukkah to you. And the pagans too. In some ways we're all monkeys, well maybe just a smidgen. I'm a gynecologist.
Well, now that's my kind of religion.
Whose faith is the right one? It's anybody's guess. What matters most is camera phone for $50 less. Everyone's invited. It's a planet right up there. Hey, isn't that Tiny Tim dancing in his underwear? Happy Christmas, Hanukkah to you.
Yay. So festive.
Yeah.
Hey, did you know that I almost dated a male psychologist, or what do you call it, gynecologist once? Fill in your own joke here about who saw more.
Where did you meet him?
At a party?
Oh, not in the chair?
No.
Okay.
No, he did not see my,
Okay.
No.
He never did?
No. Oh, but here's what's fun about that. Remember in the 70s? Oh, I mean, I wasn't alive, but some people.
I was
could
alive.
Just dated serial killers because we had no Google. We had no nothing. We had no way to, right?
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. He was handsome. We hit it off. He asked me out. It was during a dry period in my bad
Previous
life.
life.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, maybe I should.
Were you a lesbian at the time?
Might have been one of those fluid periods.
I see. Got it. Okay.
Post KBC parking lot, but
So it was relatively recent.
no. Oh God, no.
Well, since I've known
It was a radio guys that we knew party that I met him, and then I Googled him, and apparently he had several sexual harassment, sexual assault suits. So I just stopped returning those texts, and that's the end of my dating a male gynecologist story.
Wait a minute, you said this was in the 70s. People
No,
didn't text in the 70s?
no. I was saying, remember when we dated serial killers back when there was no Google? Like
okay.
you just went out with, you had no idea who anyone was. You were just like, sure.
Yeah.
I'd love to go on a date
That
with you
lasted
into the
through
middle of a
80s.
field in the middle of the night. What?
Yeah,
That lasted through the 80s.
Yeah, right. See? Okay. That was just
And the early part of the 90s.
In the
too.
early
Spare.
part of the 90s, absolutely.
that was a little spare story I just threw in there. Okay, no extra charge. 19 minutes. I really need to go on vacation. Oh, I got complaint letters about me talking about decanting wine into
I bet.
hot lady's mouth.
I bet.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize. People are like, can you just stick to talking about Joe Biden's accomplishments? I am very, and you.
We have 3 hours to fill.
You tried this for 20 years, 3
Yeah,
hours
with no
a day.
writers. Not one writer at all.
Some of it's going to be packing peanuts and
Yes.
just deal with it. Okay, pardon me.
We're
19
going to
minutes.
decant this wine into your mouth, and you're going to like it.
Apparently, according to that complaint letter, I should only be talking about Joe Biden's accomplishments for 3 hours every day. Otherwise, what is the point of me?
That'll attract an audience.
I'm going to guess the decanting wine into a hot lady's mouth is ratings spiked through the roof, but that's just me. Okay, 20 minutes after the
You're the
hour.
pro.
20 minutes after the hour. Hi, good morning, Frank.
Good morning.
Thanks for making time for us. Whenever something bad happens, every producer in the country is like, get me Frank Figluzzi. So, you did ask the key question is why is somebody named Luigi Mangione eating at a McDonald's?
I think we need to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
It's, people calling him a hero. Listen,
Yeah.
the guy in eating at McDonald's, please.
I mean, Frank, we've been saying it. No one should be celebrating this. I mean, obviously, dark humor is how a lot of us cope with things. But this must, as a former FBI guy, this must really concern you. First of all, because I was saying, like, how did it take this long with all these pictures of him out there for them to, and largely because I guess the public wasn't, obviously some of them, a big percentage, I guess, is celebrating him. But what my question, Frank, would be, where were his friends and family and everybody that obviously knew who he was?
Yeah, I share the same question, and I've got a column coming out today asking that question, among other things. Yeah, your loved one, your friend, your work colleague, your roommate is plastered all over national, international media, and NYPD tells us this guy's name was never on their radar screen. So,
Yeah.
Mom and dad, cousins, what's going on with that? I don't know, and that really is a question we should figure out. The family has issued a brief statement saying all we know is coming from the media. So at that time, it appeared law enforcement had not made the connection, had not paid a visit, but rest assured, there will be detectives talking to them extensively.
And Frank, as we've been saying over and over, we all share a bipartisan, in some cases, fury about our healthcare system. But boy, talk about a slippery slope. The minute we say it's okay to murder someone in cold blood because my issue is fill in the blank, I was drawing a straight line to Trump's interview 2 days ago, whenever it was, 2 days ago on Meet the Press, where he's like, oh, they had no choice. I'm going to pardon all the January 6th. First he incites this violence, and then he said they had no choice, right? Because Trump told them you have to fight or you're not going to have a country, and he's like, oh, they had no choice. They had no choice, but to assault.
Well, so isn't that eerily similar to the language we're seeing from Mangione, which is it had to be done. It had to be done. No, murder does not have to be done. I get it. We all have our horror stories. I had someone in my family 2 years ago who was almost dead, waiting for an insurance claim to come back, approving a very rare drug for a very rare condition. It was 2 weeks of ICU and praying, that insurance would buy this rare drug. I get it, but murder is not the solution. I will tell you this, it's an eye-opener for my colleagues, former FBI colleagues in corporate security around the country, particularly in the insurance industry, who are changing things. They're going, for example, virtual investor meetings and share owners meetings. Their CEO is suddenly saying, I might need some security now. And it is bringing to light the fact that United Healthcare seems to have been amongst the worst in terms of the percentage of claims denied. I get it, but we should not be celebrating. You know who we should be celebrating? And giving the reward to the McDonald's customer and the employee who called 911.
I was just reading this. I'm sure you've heard this. That that McDonald's is getting bad Yelp and reviews, being because they say they have rats and snitches. I mean, as an FBI guy, that's got to really concern you. That
detectives were concerned that they were going to be conducting a manhunt of a hero, and that means minimal public cooperation. That's a bad thing.
Yeah. Frank, you've sort of mentioned, that he was not on anybody's radar. I mean, he does seem sort of atypical in a sense, and in some senses not. So he appeared, he seemingly supported Robert F. Kennedy Jr., appeared to harbor frustrations with the medical field. He reposted Edward Snowden's suggestion that Democrats should nominate Bobby Kennedy. He's been described as both an anti-capitalist and a member of the online right. His deleted posts support the idea that his worldview was influenced by reactionary right-wing thinkers, is the reporting. He reposted another user's skepticism of doctors. Again, a lot of this is this Joe Rogan bros, douche bro spear that we've talked about, right? That is anti-vaccine, the entire medical industry.
Stephanie Miller.
I wanna have some fun. I wanna have some fun. Move my body on that line.
You know what? There is nothing that makes me hotter than discussing all of our technical difficulties and various financial penalties associated. Okay, hi, everybody. Hi. Oh, hey, look, it's another thing about how people should be investing more in progressive infrastructure. That article, another thing about that.
Yep.
Okay. Hi, good morning. We have Carl Frisch, Dr. Redlener, and Dana Goldberg.
do.
So it's a regular Thursday, so everything is right with the world. Starting with Karen in Chicago,
Well,
of course,
I mean,
who is practically a co-host. Hello.
Good morning.
Hello.
So first of all, yeah, F. James Comey,
Yeah.
F. Christopher Wray, who covered up the Kavanaugh investigation
Thank you.
by not taking the tips. Okay?
Hundreds of tips.
So, but
yeah.
hundreds of tips,
Yeah.
exactly.
Don't you love that
So,
he's somehow an
yeah.
enemy of Donald Trump? I mean, I'm like, are you kidding me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's insanity because what? A couple of times he actually told the truth in hearings. So then all of a sudden he's an enemy of Donald Trump and the people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah. So now, Allison, I want if she's listening, and I don't know if you know, but there was an opinion piece in the New York Times, and somebody reposted it. And basically it said this: Christopher Wray resigned as FBI director. Was it capitulation or defiance? I think it was defiance. Wray's resignation actually narrowed Trump's options. There was a path to rapidly appointing Patel as an acting director without Senate confirmation. That path is now closed. So I'm curious to see if Allison.
Well,
or,
Allison does not
anybody
ever
is
miss a
listening
minute
now.
of this show. She is literally perched on the end of her
As
bed
she's asleep.
every
She's
morning. No,
asleep.
she's perched on the end of her bed
No,
like
no,
a cat.
She's asleep.
Yeah.
Well, excuse me, she should be. You literally, when my eyes open, first it's like, oh,
Thank
F
you.
us all because Donald Trump. But then
Thank
my
you.
next thought is, when is Stephanie coming on? Because
Yes.
I need to be
Listen,
glued
do you
at
know
every
Lily
moment.
Tomlin had told the story that I am in her partner Jane's earbuds, so that's what wakes Lily up every morning, like a little cartoon bird. She hears me in Jane's earbuds.
And you deliver the skinny and sweet.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
All right.
I
Thank you.
want you to Stephanie, could you just for me, so because to get me out of bed so I can do my workouts. Can you just like Burgess Meredith, get out of bed, you
Oh,
lazy.
hang on. I
Could
still
you do
have
that for me?
I have my alarm clock. Hang on. Hold please.
Get up, you lazy son of a bitch! I said wake up, you loser!
There you go. All right. You ready to go?
Okay.
All right. Dinah, go.
Yes, that's what I want, but I want you to do it.
Oh,
because
okay.
then that'll yes.
Yeah. How's your Burgess Meredith impression?
Yeah.
What's for breakfast? I want you to eat thunder and crap lightning. All right. Good luck. Good luck on your Steph Head walk. Okay. Carl Frisch next.
If we had a secret ballot, would vote against them. 5 to 10 of them who have expressed to me that they really dislike and are opposed to Hegseth. But whether they'll vote for him really depends on whether they show the backbone and spine and vote on principle, not on politics.
Senator Richard Blumenthal on the profiling cowardice that is today's Republican Party. Look who's here.
Carl.
Carl Frisch. Let's talk to our fancy Fairfax County School Board friend, shall we? CarlFrisch.com. He's not just a man, he's a website. Good morning, CarlFrisch.com.
Before we begin, I do need to let you know that I am fully committed to not drinking when I'm on the Stephanie Miller Show.
Well, that's disappointing.
I am of service to you at this hour.
We require it.
I mean, this is the kind of crazy upside down we knew we were going to be in, right? I mean, and that says everything you need to know about how cowardly this party is, right? If it were a secret ballot, there's no way he'd get in, but he may because, they're being threatened.
Yeah, how far we've come that it used to be routine in Washington for Republicans, Democrats, whomever, to tell their president, or their incoming president, look, we're fine with most of the people you want, but we're not going to take this one or that one. They were certainly never afraid of death threats because they didn't happen to the extent that they do today. They certainly weren't afraid that the president would whip up a frenzy around that person and try and primary them. It's just, it really puts on full display how we got here in the first place because of a lack of spine.
Well, I mean, and what does it say that Marco Rubio is a cowardly, spineless little wiener, and he's like, we were like, well, he's the only one that's even vaguely qualified for what he's been nominated for. I mean, this is just, I think, beyond what we could have even imagined in terms of just a clown show. I mean, I look down the road and I'm like, are they really going to confirm Tulsi Gabbard and, Bobby Kennedy and who else are we? What other? Kash Patel? I mean, what's your take on first Hegseth and then those other ones, Carl?
I think with everyone that gets bounced, the likelihood that the other ones get through increases. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You might call it the transitive property of MAGA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God! And now Pete Hegseth is trying to get out in front of what is this thing? Some West Point.
West Point. Yeah.
That who knows. That I don't know whether he did. They're saying
he has a letter saying that he
did get into West Point. So. I don't know. Oh my God! I mean, talk about death by 1,000 cuts, right? And it just and the other thing, all these Republicans keep going on TV and going, well, he can't. There's these anonymous sources. She's not anonymous. He paid her off. He knows who she is.
made her sign a non-disclosure.
Yes, thank you. Wait, do we have this
It's
one?
McCormick.
Yeah, 13. This is Rich McCormick, Republican of Georgia. Oy.
He did a really good job of shoring up against those accusations, which are anonymous, which nobody at Fox will say anything. They're like, I don't know what I don't know what they're talking about when they talk about these anonymous complaints. He doesn't know what it's talking about. His wife doesn't know what's going on.
Yes,
They're all kind of like, just show me who it is and let's address it because I don't know who it is.
Oh my God.
And so
Are you talking about the allegations of sexual assault? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so,
but he paid a settlement, so he does know who it is.
No, he didn't know who it is, and he's saying to us, it's an empty allegation of an anonymous tip. That's not the same thing, and so that's why I heard the same thing as you, and I had my concerns, but that's not what we were told in conference. We were told, no, these are anonymous tips. We don't know where they came from.
So they're
is
being
that what
lied to.
Those are your marching orders. You were lied to and told to repeat those lies.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Carl, how ridiculous is this? I mean,
They were told they were anonymous, and of course he paid the person who was anonymous. Okay, get in line, make it anonymous.
first of all, what do you think the results were of that rape kit? Why do you think he paid her off?
Exactly.
I mean, are you kidding me? That we're supposed to believe, oh, this is some anonymous. Really? How do you know who to pay to shut up if you don't know who it is? I mean, this is just absurd.
It's through the looking glass. It is the upside down times. It's everything you can imagine and then some. And mind you, we're going to be going through this for the next 4 years because remember, this is a guy who goes through his cabinet members like nobody's business, right? Like one after another after another. So it's just going to keep happening like this.
I know. No, I know. By the way, Alina Habba.
Bless you.
Thank you. Noted parking lot lawyer. Also on Pete Hegseth.
Amazing to me, especially that they're picking on the people that have served our country in an amazing way. I mean, look at their history, Tulsi and Pete Hegseth. And then they say, oh, well, of course you pick somebody who's from Fox, or of course you pick somebody who had a picture with Putin once. Well, what exactly do you think their jobs were? Their jobs were exactly that, to have relationships, to form them and to fight for the American people. That doesn't make you a sympathizer with our enemies, but this is the narrative. We're used to it, Laura. You know, just buckle up. We're just getting started, but yeah.
Oh, God, we're all such victims. Oh, you're right, Alina. We're all such victims. Oh, my God, really? This is picking on... Noting that Pete Hegseth is a drunk and has been accused of rape is picking on him? Oh, my God, and then they play the veteran card. Tulsi Gabbard had a picture once with Putin? Really? Is that the extent of her? So she can fight him? Really? Uh-huh. That's what you call...
I know she's funny, but mark my words, sometime in the next 4 years, Alina Habba will be nominated for Attorney General.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. Bless you. Carl, of all the layers of, cognitive dissonance that we're going to have to endure, we were told this whole campaign that Kamala Harris was a DEI hire, right? Had no qualifications of any kind. Forget being a fantastic senator, attorney general of the largest state in the nation, yada, yada, vice president of the United States. So now, let's see, what do we have? Oh, Kimberly Guilfoyle will be the new ambassador to Greece. How did that conversation go? Trump's like, what do you think, Canada? No, farther. Where's the farthest? Greece.
Poor Greece.
Because there's...
Well,
Greece tweeted, don't you shout, we can hear you from here. You don't have to come here.
Yeah.
How will Don Jr. split his time between Greece and the United States?
Right.
Don Jr. has, what's the term? Moved on, it appears. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, don't you hold hands unromantically?
Yes. Jody and I hold hands all through the entire show. Don't we, Jody?
Uh-huh.
No.
Constantly.
No. I love Don Jr. tweeted, I'm so proud of Kimberly. I'm guessing she has some different fifis about him at this point.
But,
yes, he's been spotted canoodling, as Carl has, with someone else. But I just love, literally, is that the farthest place you could get an ambassadorship to? I think so. Greece?
Yeah, she may, I don't know what she thinks, but, I mean, she's going to get appointed. She's going to get confirmed. Look, ambassadorships are the least of our worries, right?
Yeah, no, I know.
A Trumper.
But she's a lawyer who was on Fox. She has not held any foreign policy or diplomacy titles. I mean, and this is what this is going to be like, right? I mean, Eric, hi, I'm Eric. Just announced, a new Trump deal in Saudi Arabia. Imagine that after he got $2 billion from them on the way out the door. I mean, this is going to be one long oligarchic, Kazakhstocracy. I can't even think of the words. Carl, go ahead.
Well, and at the same time, we've got a potential Trump becoming a senator behind Marco Rubio.
Oh, God, yes.
You know,
yes, Fire Escape singer Lara Trump may be the new senator because... Oh,
it might just be a ruse for an album release party. But,
that was funny, Carl.
Yep.
Funny. I swear to God, Trump probably had a Sharpie and a map. He's like, no, farther.
Yeah.
Somewhere farther. Mexico? No. I'm sorry. We're having a deer antler conflagration between Bonnie and Clyde. I apologize.
Conflagration.
Yeah, that's what
A
I said.
conflama.
Right. Okay, we're having a kerfuffle. All right, in my shut the up pile forever, did you see this, Carl? Senator Mitch McConnell, could you just load the shut up cannon and keep it ready all morning?
Yep.
Thank you very much. He made what seemed to be another criticism of Donald Trump. This is also the now a warning stack. He would like to warn us now about the dangers of Donald Trump. Cautioning that the country is in a dangerous global situation, similar to the years leading up to World War II, pointing out Trump's campaign slogan echoes that historical period. We are in a very, very dangerous world right now, reminiscent right before World War II. Even the slogan is the same, America First, which is what was said in the 1930s. Wow.
I wish you could just shut
Thanks,
your
Mitch.
big yapper.
He had an opportunity to convict him.
Shut the up, Donnie.
Okay. He said, let's be absolutely clear. America will not be made great again by those who are content to manage our decline. To which he got an enthusiastic ovation from other people that probably voted for Donald Trump. Carl, politically, can I put your little political cap on, won't you? I do feel like this is going to be and it already has, I think, been the quickest case of buyer's remorse ever. That people are like, wait, what?
Well, just wait until the policies change too.
Right.
You know, give the billionaires more tax cuts and cut Social Security and Medicare, and the list goes on. Let alone what agencies and essential government functions they're going to try and destroy. But I think that they will do what they've always done. They will go way too far, way too fast, and within a year's time, it will be very clear that Democrats are going to retake Congress.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have a new minister of propaganda, by the way. Speaking of, yes, Carrie Lake.
Oh, yeah.
Will be the head of Voice of America.
Yep.
Somebody called it the international propaganda minister. Is there enough Vaseline to achieve this? Yeah. She is the new director of Voice of America. I'm going to guess we're not going to be invited to be on there.
I don't think so.
Can you imagine spending that much time at Mar-a-Lago and this is what you get?
That's what you get?
Yeah.
By the way, someone said, how is she going to serve as senator, governor, and director of Voice of America at the same time? Since, as you know, she's never lost any office that she's run for.
I mean, she is highly capable of serving in positions she wasn't elected for.
Even the people in South Dakota are like, Kristi Noem, head of Homeland Security, she would suck at that because she couldn't even keep her home state safe, unless we're being attacked by puppies, in which case.
Oh, then we'd be fine.
Yeah. Carl, I don't know what to say. So, Thom Hobag.
Holman.
Sure. I think you started that.
I did start
that sticks in the head.
Yeah.
Okay. Our border czar has indicated he plans to deport millions of undocumented immigrants with or without the help of local officials. So our friend, Governor J.B. Pritzker, star of Stage, Screen, Illinois, and Chicago Sexy Liberal, it said being a border czar is not an official position in the government. He says Hobag may not have the authority.
Holman.
Sure. He said he would not authorize the Illinois National Guard to assist the Trump ICE agents. He added he wouldn't permit any other state's National Guard to enter his state's borders. And he said something important, Carl. He said, I don't believe we should be putting one state's National Guard against another state that's un-American.
Yep.
I mean, these friggin' states' rights people that then change on a dime. Like, suddenly, trust me, January 20th, Illinois will have no rights, right?
Never been about states' rights or local control. It's always been about their views having, domain over everything else.
Yeah.
That was always code language until they got power.
Right.
Yeah. Thom Hobag said if he doesn't...
Holman.
Bless you. He said if he doesn't want to get help, he should get the hell out of the way. Chicago's in trouble because your mayor sucks and your governor sucks.
Whoa. That's lovely.
That's what this is going to be like these 4 years. Name calling, bullying, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is what happens when you hire the best. Yeah. And clearly they all come with speechwriters who are really good at their jobs.
You're extra scampy today, Carl.
Yeah.
Carl, and I love you. All right.
Mean, have to be scampy to get through the days.
You're cutting in and out, or it's maybe these evil headphones of mine. But I love
he
you.
is cutting in and out.
Oh, okay. Okay, fine. Let's see you next week. Goodbye.
Thanks, Carl.
All right, goodbye. 47 minutes after the hour. This portion of the show brought to you by Bob.
Hi. I need a jingle for the Heroes of Democracy segment. That's the only thing I'm missing. Rocky Mountain Mike. Yeah. Just saying.
Oh.
Just sending out a long distance request and dedication.
Oh, could you take out your funeral organ for me? Thank you very much. We have a sad announcement here at the Stephanie Miller Show. After 20 years of dedicated service to the American people, my bullhorn has officially died yesterday.
Yeah,
it did. I tried new batteries.
Bullhorn died.
I was trying to use it for Heroes of Democracy. So I could just steal
See,
that
we
from you.
We got to set up a GoFundMe for a new bullhorn
God.
for Stephanie.
It's one of many things we need.
A few
That's
other,
low on
we
the
have
totem
a, yeah, we
pole
have a few
there.
other priorities.
Oh, yeah.
Expect a stack of boxes on your front stoop within the next 24 to 48 hours, Stephanie. Every single box with a bullhorn in it.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what's going to happen.
But it is more important than ever now, isn't it? I mean, we had Harry Littman on, who resigned, from the LA Times over them bending the knee to Trump, and our friends Olivia Troy. We're having David Frum on next week, who wrote something similar about not giving in to fear. And you talk a little bit about that, Bob, because you've been saying the same thing, that we can model courage or cowardice, and people will follow.
I'm in this weird sort of Hawkeye Pierce place where all at once I'm terrified, but at the same time, I'm feeling strangely brave about what's coming next. And, one of the things that obviously we've seen a few of Donald Trump's handpicked whack pack members get rejected by a friendly Republican Senate, and the hearings haven't even started. He's not even president yet.
Yeah.
And signs of lame duckism have kind of cropped up. But then the other thing that happened yesterday, and this didn't make big news, but I thought it was significant as far as the portend of what we can possibly expect. Even though the United States Supreme Court is obviously stacked in Donald Trump's favor, Sam Alito, of all people,
the gag order. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not even going to hear this gag order case. Don't even ask us again. Get out of here. Get out of here with your legal filings, Donald Trump. And Sam Alito rejected Donald Trump and said, no, the gag order in the hush money case, which I don't even know where that sentencing even stands at this point.
Yeah, but Bob, you're right. That is a glimmer of hope. You said while on paper the court's majority is predisposed to supporting him, don't assume they'll automatically go along with everything. I mean, and as you say, there's already been 2 instances of, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. He didn't get, what's his name? Rick Scott is the majority leader. He didn't get Matt Gaetz in. Pete Hegseth, we'll see. I mean, I don't know, on the bubble, I guess,
Yeah, he's just making announcements now. He's not even president yet. And that will come in, whatever it is, a month or so. And the hearings will last for a few months, well into next year. And so there's all kinds of opportunities for things to fall apart there, too. And I imagine some of the aforementioned whack pack members in their hearings are going to crash and burn because, as we've all witnessed, these are incompetent morons who have no business being anywhere near political power, governmental power, any sort of power.
And you have a big bag of rats. That National Review conservative guy just wrote a thing about how, the Republicans have to tank the Bobby Kennedy thing over the choice issue, over pro-choice, not over all of his other murderous, insane theories.
Yeah.
Right, but over being pro-choice. So,
well, that's just it. Start your betting pool now as to who the first whack pack member to get a crazy derogatory nickname from Donald Trump after that person is fired or jettisoned during the confirmation process. This is something, all we got to do is look back at the first 4 years, and if you take away some of the horror show aspects of it, and one of the things that I think helps in that endeavor is to pay less attention to what he's saying and more attention to what he's doing.
Well, to your point, Bob, you talked about, you retweeted Ron Filipowski, who said Trump reiterated this morning on Meet the Press he intends to end birthright citizenship. When told the 14th Amendment says all persons born in the U.S. are citizens, he said, well, we're going to have it changed. We have to end it. And you said he might try, but he won't change it. I mean, You can't.
Well,
I mean,
he tried.
Right.
He already did in
Right.
2018. He tried to change all of that, and he was unable to do it. It wasn't. I don't think it even got to the place where it was adjudicated in courts. I just think there's a certain cosmetic nature to Donald Trump, as we can see by the way he looks.
Stephanie Miller.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. This is it? This is as good as it gets?
This is as good as it gets.
This is it? These are the good times, so enjoy. How much longer do we have till January 20th?
It's the holidays.
Oh, boy. Yeah, what the Christ-sicle. Okay, what? Oh, Maggie. Oh, ASU. Class of 92. Steph, Chris, Jody, longtime listener, want to say how much I love and appreciate all of you. You kept me sane through this national trauma. I don't have a guess for the 5 and Dime clip, but I think it sounds like Allison Janney, and the style sounds similar to the writing in the movie Juno. Is it from Juno? I don't know.
She was, Allison Janney was in Juno.
Yes, she was. She was in every movie.
Pretty much.
I just saw her
two
in
things.
The Diplomat.
What happened to Road Flare Mary?
We don't know.
Don't think she's still with us.
I think she may no longer. Number 2, I have to admit I have a little crush on Chris. He is the cutest. If only I was single and I lived in California. Oh well, 0 for 3. Maggie, ASU, classic. 92, Fear the Fork.
I was class of 92 as well.
Is that an ASU's thing?
Fear the Fork.
What does that mean?
Sparky carries a trident. You know, he's a devil, and he carries
Oh, got it. Okay. Well, Fear the Fork, ASU, class of 92.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, this is one of the side effects of the Stephanie Miller Show. Lorraine says, Steph, I switch my dogs to Dr. Marty. Good girl! Every time I feed them, I find myself humming the Rocky Mountain Mike's Dr. Ronnie jingle.
Oh.
That's funny.
All right.
This is, am I saying this name right? Kate Baldwin?
Baldwin.
Yeah, Baldwin. On CNN. She was doing so. We always recognize bouldering in honor of our beloved Eric Bowler, who just had a heavenly birthday.
Yep. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
These are world-renowned leaders in fields like medicine, chemistry, economics, and physics. They include the men who were awarded this year's Nobel Prize in physiology or medicine for the discovery of microRNA. My thing about this is, we are all very clear on what it feels like to, play politics with whatever. But when do we start and stop listening to people who are actual experts on things?
I don't think we should necessarily stop, Kate, but I think we should challenge. And they are elite in terms of their pedigree. Like, I have a lot of respect for any person.
Or maybe elite in terms of their intellectual capacity.
Sure. But I have respect for people who spent a lot of time mastering something and moving the needle forward in terms of our understanding and sort of rare or complex disciplines.
Okay.
Who's she talking to?
Sure, Michael Singleton. Is that his actual name?
Yeah.
Right-wing douche nozzle. Here we go.
I think that matters for us as a nation and for the world. However, let's look at some of the facts as it pertains to our healthcare system. 40.3% of Americans, according to the CDC, are obese. Mm-hmm. That number has increased since 2011. The United States, according to the same data, ranks 34th in terms of our healthcare system.
But a lot of people will also not potentially endanger America's children by pushing anti-vax conspiracy theories for years.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll say what also endangered Americans' children, Kate, was a lot of the rhetoric that we heard from many of the same experts during the COVID pandemic, where now you have millions of American kids who are significantly behind academically.
Oh, my God. But alive.
Yeah.
Alive, they can catch up. Oh, my God. I can't wait to talk to Dr. Doom about this, because it's just, they did a poll where, more Americans trust Dr. Fauci than, Trump. And I'm like, it shouldn't even be close. Why Trump and Bobby Kennedy, neither of whom have medical degrees or knowledge of any kind. It's just, oh, my God. This whole, this is an opinion question, right? Here's some more. Yeah.
I think many Americans want someone who's willing to ask some very tough questions as it pertains to our healthcare system. And I would argue that they would be right in doing so because our healthcare system is not where it needs to be. It doesn't make sense for the wealthiest country in the world to rank 34th in terms of life expectancy. How is that possible? It makes no sense that nearly half Americans are obese. So let's ask those questions, Kate.
Medicare for all would help.
Yeah, yes, it would help, exactly. Oh, my God. Okay, one last one.
It's one thing to deny the data from decades of how many lives have been saved from vaccines that children do not suffer from, and what it would mean if the skepticism and the questions we're suggesting are out there, then start getting into the mindset of millions of Americans once again, led by someone who has not only been a skeptic of vaccines, is a cynic of vaccines.
Yeah, thank you. I loved how she put it. She said, when did we stop listening to people who are actual experts on things, talking about the Nobel laureates, warning about Bobby Kennedy? And he said he disagreed with the premise of her question, saying those experts had elite pedigrees, but argued their assumptions should be challenged by others outside their areas of expertise. Oh, sure.
They're challenged by people in the area of expertise through published.
This is a perfect setup. Dr. Doom is going to spike it next.
It's the Stephanie Miller Show.
So yes, they are our neighbors, but we have stood up to them. We're in a different situation with Donald Trump, a convicted predator, who's seriously undermining the democratic process in the United States, and he thinks he can just push us around. He insults us, you know. The conservatives seem to like it because he's insulting our prime minister, but he's not really insulting the prime minister. He's insulting Canadians, calling us the 51st state.
Oh, radio lapping stock around the world. Okay, speaking of people that go all over the world to do good, it's Dr. Do-Gooder. If I'm going to get bad news, I want it from him because he's very handsome. Dr. Irwin Redletter joins us now. MSNBC medical expert. Dr. Irwin Redletter.
Here he became Dr. Doom.
Dr. Irwin Redletter is the founding director of the National Center for Disaster Preparedness and senior research scholar.
Dr. Doom.
Oh, hi. Good morning, Dr. Doom. How are you?
Well, you know, it's afternoon where I am.
All right.
He's in Poland.
He's in Poland. Pardon me.
It's 4:00 in the afternoon.
I'm half Polish, so I should have halfway known that. There we were. Yeah.
Well, you know, it's kind of a weird thing, but it is what it is, and we're happy to be here. We got here yesterday and have a lot of meetings, and then we're heading over to Ukraine for the rest of the trip.
Yeah. to try to help Ukrainian kids as much as you can before Donald Trump hands the entire country to Putin. Sorry to be a buzzkill, but.
Oh, yeah. And the effect of the Trump presidency is not limited to the crisis areas of Ukraine or Syria or the Middle East. The entire world is trembling, including our allies in Western Europe, who have no idea what's going to be happening, and they have problems of their own to boot. And, in France, with Le Pen rising in power, Germany is undergoing some significant challenges as well. So what we have is an unstable world to begin with basically a lunatic taking over the administration and the presidency again in a month from now. It's kind of like deeply unsettling.
And
yeah.
On every level, by the way, you retweeted Adam Kinzinger, who said, watching people who were tortured by Assad and my anger for Tulsi Gabbard defending him grows hotter. Every senator that votes yes on her is complicit. And you just said, yes, Congressman, the Senate is the last stand for sustaining standards of competence, expertise, and moral integrity in Trump's government. Hopefully enough Republican senators will understand the gravity of their collective responsibility. Well, we keep saying never underestimate the cowardice of the Republican Party today. But, I mean, it's not just Assad. I mean, she's literally a Russian asset.
Would you mind, Stephanie Miller, if I remained hopeful?
Okay.
That the
Dr.
Senate,
Doom, that's not so against your
Dr. Hopeful
brand.
Dr. Hopeful doesn't have a ring to it.
It's not my brand. It's not my brand. But I have to think that when it comes down to it, that there will be some responsible Republican senators who will say, Tulsi Gabbard for National Director of Intelligence, the DNI. I don't think so. And they're going to vote what they should vote. And the same goes for their reaction to Bobby Kennedy or Mehmet Oz.
Yeah.
But at some point, they're going to come back to their senses, aren't they, Steph?
I hope so. We were just playing, this sound from CNN where, they're talking about the 75 Nobel laureates. They're screaming, warning against appointing Bobby Kennedy. And the anchor said something I thought is what I've been saying, Doc. When did we stop listening to people who are actual experts on things? And the right-winger there disagreed with the premise of her question, saying those experts have elite pedigrees, but their assumptions should be challenged by those outside their areas of expertise. Well, when I have a question, when I had COVID twice or a vaccine, I ask you. When I had my heel fell off my shoe, I went to my shoe repair guy. I mean,
You needed a new heel for your shoe.
I did. I love that guy. He's like in Princess Bride. He's a little cobbler. But, Doc, this is what I mean. I always say, I was good at the Bolt subjects in school where it's opinion. Science and math are not opinion questions, right? I mean, that's what's like. Nobody, your opinion is not just as valid as Dr. Fauci's. I'm sorry, right? Uh-oh, he's frozen. Oh, he's so handsome when he's frozen. Oh, dear.
Well, it is a faraway connection.
The interwebbles in
Warsaw.
Poland. Yeah.
Yeah. He looks pensive.
Okay. I wonder if he can hear us.
He went away now.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
He looks super handsome. Okay.
Let's see if he
wow,
calls back.
I had quite a significant
Well,
Dr.
we'll see if
Doom
he calls
stack.
back.
Yeah, he'll call back if he can.
Sure. Okay. Well, could you want to just put on
He was
our
telling us, Warsaw is such a modern city with
beep beep buzz click.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Should we move on to another subject, or wow, that's an awkward time, right?
Maybe take a call.
All right. Let's,
Okay.
Good luck, Charlie in Wisconsin. What do you know about epidemiology? Hey, Charlie.
I know a lot. I'm a retired nurse.
Oh, there you
Okay.
go.
Wow,
wow. All right,
So
then.
there you go.
I'm just going to pretend you're Dr. Doom. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm calling about the ambassador to appointment to Greece, Stephanie Guilfoyle.
Kimberly Guilfoyle. Yeah.
Kimberly Guilfoyle. I digress. Okay. I don't know what you left-wing people are doing, complaining about that. She was married to a Democratic governor.
Yes.
Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
Yes. That was before she looked like the gargoyle in Ghostbusters. What?
The gargoyle?
Yeah, that's before she destroyed her face.
Yeah, she was pretty.
Yeah. So that's a big part of it. I get on your show more often than any of the others.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, so you're a troll.
And,
you're a professional troll.
All right, thanks for calling.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think he was trying to.
I'm not really
insult
certain
us.
what he was trying to do.
I think he was trying.
Yeah.
I was confused by that entire situation. All right. Yes, Kimberly Guilfoyle was. Can I just go on a limb and say I think the engagement to Don Jr. is off? I mean, I'm not really certain.
Probably, yeah.
There's a lot of canoodling pictures, Don Jr. and a Palm Beach socialite. I want to be a fly on the wall at that meeting. How about here? He's with the Sharpie, right? How about here? No, not far enough. Keep going. Greece. Yeah, great. Yep, that's good. That's an island, right? It takes a long time to get back from there, right? Yes. Okay. All right. I'm gonna.
Greece isn't an island,
isn't it? No. It's not.
There are
it
islands.
It has islands, but Athens.
I'm thinking of Lesbos
Okay.
because, of course, I am. All right.
Athens is on the mainland.
Yeah, it's in Europe.
All right. I'm just going to finish the Dr. Doom segment myself.
Okay. Yeah, he's not calling back.
He's not calling back yet, so.
All right.
Sorry.
Everything sucks. No, I just was going to say, on the same subject we've been talking about, it just, this latest poll from Axios, whatever, shows 45% of Americans say they either have a great deal or a fair amount of trust in information regarding health topics coming from Dr. Fauci. Another 32% say the same about Trump. 30% say the same of Bobby Kennedy. Well, okay, Fauci's ahead. I guess it's the good news, but this shouldn't even be close.
They've destroyed his reputation.
Oh,
and it's
25% said the same of Elon Musk. I mean, what's wrong with this picture? One of these things, several of these things are not like the other.
I don't know what to do about it, though. Because, they have this fire hose of disinformation that is destroying people's reputations.
But that's what I mean. It's like it's just an opinion. Like, oh, well,
Right.
yeah, maybe Dr. Fauci
But
knows
it's
some
working.
stuff, but, maybe Bobby Kennedy does. No, he's not a doctor. He's a lunatic. He's a lunatic. Not the guy whose brain was eaten by a worm. Not that guy.
But what they're doing is working. That's what I'm trying to say here, and I don't know how to stop it.
We might be able to get him
Trump-
in the next minute.
Okay. Trump nominated another controversial choice to oversee the National Institute of Health. Somebody helped. They said he criticized COVID lockdowns and vaccine mandates because, of course, he did. Oh my God! By the way, this whole herd immunity thing we never got to herd immunity on what is it, polio, and what's the other one? You know why? Vaccines, because vaccines eradicated them.
Exactly.
We didn't get to herd immunity on a bunch of horrible
who's back.
disease. Oh, hi! I've already done most of the segment without you, but anyway, see, this is what happens. We have to rely on non-experts when an expert's not available. No, I was saying there's a poll, Doc, saying 45% trust Dr. Fauci on medical information, but 30-something trust Trump or Bobby Kennedy or Elon Musk.
Yeah, no, we're in a terrible place, Stephanie. This is the fact of the matter: is we've lost faith in the vaunted institutions that we have, and in the individuals who are actually experts. One of the things I've been saying is, there's a lot of issues that senators have to deal with that they don't know anything about. And from agricultural policy nuances to the NASA program, you need experts to advise you. And the senators become completely dismissive of expertise, like it was a bad thing to be an expert in something.
Right.
And we're going to pay a price for that.
Well, by the way, so you've mentioned, you tweeted the polio. I was just talking about, guess how we eradicated polio? Vaccines, not herd immunity. You said polio virus found in wastewater in Spain, Germany, and Poland. What you need to know. You just said, I am stunned by the silence of the AMA and other major medical organizations who should be apoplectic in resistance to the appointment of Kennedy, not to mention Dr. Oz and other inappropriate selections. I mean, what's the Congo? What's going on there?
Yeah.
10 patients suffering from a mystery illness that has caused 79 deaths in the Congo. They've tested positive for malaria. So the World Health Organization said patients with the mystery illness could be suffering from multiple diseases simultaneously. I mean, this just has the feel medically of an oncoming train with Bobby Kennedy and Dr. Oz in charge.
By the way, Bobby Kennedy Jr. suggested that we stop doing infectious disease research for 8 years. I mean, it's an absurd thing to think, not just say. So, look, we're, like I said, we're in a very bad place. And by the way, I'm happy the Nobel laureates have objected to this appointment and the other ones. But where the hell is the AMA, the American Medical Association? Why haven't they been outraged publicly by these appointments? Where are they? You know, I wrote a piece called "The AMA is MIA," which is what the case is. But anyway, more to come on all of this, and hopefully they'll stop some of it.
And, you know, also, obviously, the healthcare system, much in the news due to this, you know, tragic shooting of the United Healthcare CEO. You said the insanity of Americans' healthcare system is across the board, from access to cost to quality of actual care. The Trump appointments of RFK Jr., Mehmet Oz, and the rest of this unqualified team he selected will take us to a whole new, very dark place of disorder, conspiracy theories, and scientific nonsense in medicine. Senators from both sides of the aisle must not let this happen. You know, that's what we were saying is, ironically, Democrats are the only ones that have been trying to do something about whether it's gun violence or fixing the, you know, our ridiculous medical system, right?
Yeah, but we used to be able to depend on Republicans to, even though they disagree with some fundamental policies or approaches. Ted Kennedy, the former the late Lion of the Senate, got together with Orrin Hatch, and they developed the Children's Health Insurance Program.
Yeah.
The two of them, completely polar opposites, but otherwise related to each other and solved problems together on behalf of Americans. That's bye-bye now, and I don't see any evidence of that happening yet.
So Kevin O'Leary, the Shark Tank guy, said instead of making efforts to fortify security around them, healthcare executives should read the room and realize the public is turning against them. Yep. Well, I don't blame them for wanting security. I mean, again, you know, this was nobody should be celebrating this cold-blooded killing. All of us are, you know. I don't even know what's the word, you know, hate this healthcare system. But he said if anything good is going to come of this, it's going to be policy change, because you basically got people lighting up their torches, just like in the Frankenstein story, going to the castle, they're going to burn it down. And you got to hear that. So if you're an executive saying, get me more security, that's the wrong answer. I mean, again, maybe necessary, but he's one guy. You know, the problem is with the entire system. And it's why we keep saying, you know, Medicare for all, at least a public option. But man, when Trump gets in, God knows what concepts of a plan are going to look like, right?
Oh yeah, well, he never revealed them in his first term. He's not going to reveal them in this term either. But we are going to have an exacerbation of all the problems, medical, economic, etc., that are caused by a completely disorganized, horrendous healthcare system, which is what we have in America. It's embarrassing and it's dangerous.
Yeah. Doc, stay safe there with that fantastic Warsaw internet. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Doc.
See you next week, honey. Bye-bye. 21 minutes after the hour. This portion of the show. Hiya, hola.
Good morning, Chris. I was detecting a high level of sass.
It was a tribute to you, Carlos.
It was the Carlos Rocky tribute.
He was dropping names, man, dropping old work.
Well,
I'm doing well. I can't.
Except for Chet You Betcha, which was Jim Ward.
That's right.
Yeah.
I saw you threw a curveball at the end there. Yeah.
Doug Dimmadome, Jim Ward. Well, good morning. As I'm hearing you read all these stories about Krugman, I'm just thinking about January 6th, tried to overthrow an election, was the nominee and got elected. The country's over. When the media normalized that, we're done.
Yeah. You know, by the way, we've been talking obviously about Luigi Mangione.
No relation to Chuck.
Luigi, number one. But you know, as I was saying, as liberals, the minute we stop, we start celebrating a murderer rather than saying, here's another angry white guy with some beef that could get a ghost gun, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and as I said, is it a matter of gun control? Could state laws, federal laws stop that kind of behavior? Probably not, because you can get them illegally. But I still maintain, as I tweeted, that it destroys the myth that if you're armed, it will protect you. Because, like the two cops in Vegas after the Bundy rally, well-armed, trained police officers were just gunned down because somebody decided, I'm not going to text ahead or yell, hey, I have a gun and I'm behind you. You can't stop that because of our love of gun culture. If a bad guy wants to get the jump on you, you're done. Harvey Milk, Moscone, forget it. You're done.
Yep. I am glad, thank you, for that some people are still standing up for a rule of law. New York Attorney General Letitia James says she will not drop the civil fraud case against Trump as she waits for the appeals court decision, arguing presidents are not immune from civil litigation. James' office says the matter does not in any way affect Trump's ability to serve as president. I saw Eric Swalwell yesterday. As you know, his civil suit is going forward. At this point, Carlos, I will take any measure of justice I can get for January 6th or anything else.
Just put pressure on his internal organs, make his heart beat faster. If indeed he can feel anything, which I don't think he can.
Speaking of norms, Steve Bannon said Trump had plenty of time to come up with an explanation for why he wants to fire his own hand-picked FBI director. He apparently can't think of anything real. A president firing an FBI director without cause twice remains an underappreciated scandal. That's the problem, is that everything's a scandal with Trump, and we just get numb. Everything's a five-alarm fire.
You get normalized to it all. Just the fact that he's living at Scar-a-Lago or whatever that dump is called, just at Tackyville, makes Vegas look classy. Yeah, everything. Just, again, flying in on your own private jet to Iowa in 2016 was abnormal. It should have been like, this guy's a billionaire trying to con people. I'm one of you, but get out of the way while I land my big private jet. Get out of the way.
We were talking about Joni Ernst, who, is a woman who served in combat, who was sexually assaulted in the military, apparently having heads, sorry for the phrase, but shoved down her throat, by Trump and his, enforcers like Elon Musk. Sherrilyn Ifill said, so the mob controls our government. Senators won't protect the U.S. military because they're physically frightened of members of their party and their own constituents. This is the top story in our country. I wish it were treated as such. Go ahead.
It's like a big rich billionaires fraternity just deciding that we're going to take over the campus and run it the way we want to run it. Be damned to all the civil liberty classes and liberal arts. Those are gone. Those are wasteful. And again, the fact that they could slash Medicare and take your Social Security. As much as old people can get up in arms, they should be.
I just went outside. My eyes are watering. I should just say I'm crying because you're not giving enough money to Free Speech TV. Okay, it's cold out. Let's make my eyes wet. It's a surprise match day. Surprise! Thanks to Andrew Bonsall in California making today's surprise match possible, matching all donations today up to $10,000. Yep. Wow, Andrew. Don't miss your chance to double your impact. Call 877-378-8669 or go to freespeech.org/donate. Please. Hiya, hola.
Good morning, Chris. I was detecting a high level of sass.
It was a tribute to you, Carlos.
It was the Carlos Rocky tribute.
He was dropping names, man, dropping old work.
Well,
I'm doing well. I can't.
Except for Chet You Betcha, which was Jim Ward.
That's right.
Yeah.
I saw you threw a curveball at the end there. Yeah.
Doug Dimmadome, Jim Ward. Well, good morning. Yeah, as I'm hearing you read all these stories about Krugman, I'm just thinking about January 6th, tried to overthrow an election, was the nominee and got elected. The country's over. When the media normalized that, we're done.
Yeah. By the way, we've been talking obviously about Luigi Mangione.
No relation to Chuck.
Luigi, number one.
But as I was saying, as liberals, the minute we stop, we start celebrating a murderer rather than saying, here's another angry white guy with some.
Stephanie Miller.
Yeah. What? It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Dana Goldberg coming up, so everything will be better, as we know.
Sure.
Chris in Oakland, Steph and the Mooks. I know this is tough, but remember, 75 million of our fellow Americans are going through it as well. We are not alone. Draw strength and courage from that. We do. While Jesse Waters rejoices in the pain that is surely to come for so many quote-unquote leftists, Kayleigh McEnany calls for unity on the same propaganda outlet. These are not serious people. They are trolling. Protect your loved ones, support your friends, take care of yourself, save your energy, live long enough to cheer the last breath of that pathological, self-serving, orange dictator, wannabe, rapist, traitor, felon. Resist. Thank you, Chris. I'm with Rude Pundit, who said, like the J6 committee and all the other people that he's coming after and bullying. Someone should just say, "Shut the up, you rapist." I'm just saying.
I would hope.
Just push him back on his heels a little bit.
It's not gonna shut him up.
Hang on. Oh, Paul, greetings from New York. Hi. Want to extend a shout out and hello, say thanks to all of you at the Stephanie Miller Show from the beautiful Hudson Valley. Oh, it is beautiful. I'm a veteran of at least a half a dozen sexy liberal shows via pay-per-view and enjoy the comedy provided by you, Hal Sparks, Frangela, and John Few listening immensely. 49.5% of the voters nationwide agree with you. Bravo. Kudos to you and Jody and Chris and your production staff. That is my production staff.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
I love that people think we have other staff of any kind.
No.
That's pretty much it.
We're not Al Franken.
When someone asks our writing staff or our promotions department or
Yeah.
what was our graphic design department?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay.
We have departments?
Of all the
Department suggests there's more people in said place.
Organization.
Yeah.
Right. Of all the podcasts, I found yours, Midas Touch, Sisters-in-Law, Democracy, DACA to be reliable sources of information. Yeah, I support all of those great people that are out there because there are a lot of us that, that can use your support. And we will build our own ecosystem, right? So there, 29 minutes after the hour, Stephanie Miller Show.
Can I just begin with the possibility of you running against Marjorie Taylor Greene if Donald Trump gets his way 2 years from now? It seems like would she have any struggle getting the Republican nomination in Georgia?
Well, former President Trump has said that he would, quote, fight like hell for Marjorie Taylor Greene if she runs for Senate.
If she wants it.
She would have his support. And I guess, I know a lot of folks are wringing their hands trying to figure out what to do to make sense of the election. I'll just get right to it since you raised Marjorie Taylor Greene. America, if you believe that Marjorie Taylor Greene should never be a United States Senator, it's electjon.com, electjon.com. Marjorie Taylor Greene in the U.S. Senate would be a disaster for the country.
God. And we were just saying, yet any less ridiculous than everything else we're talking about? Bobby Kennedy and Dr. Oz and Jesus, Tulsi Gabbard. Here is Hakeem Jeffries on Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Are you recommending, by the way, your members to join the House equivalent of this committee that they want to create? It's not really a real committee. But
we'll have that internal discussion.
Yeah.
But as I understand it, the person charged with executing this vision is Marjorie Taylor Greene. Are you kidding me? This is not a serious effort. When you put Marjorie Taylor Greene in charge, it speaks for itself.
What is it called? Doge. It is, first of all, not a thing. It's not a department. It is a pastiche of notions, as we say here on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the richest man in the world that wants to, what does he say? Rip out your Social Security by the roots.
Right.
Okay. Here is God Warrior Mike Johnson on Doge.
It's no surprise that border is the top of everyone's priority list because it's the top of the list for the American people. We do that. We do energy policy. We ensure that we don't have the largest tax increase in U.S. history, which is what would happen at the end of next year if we don't extend those tax cuts, and a lot of other things that we want to do. In the meantime, we'll be dismantling the deep state, and that's what the Doge effort is all about.
Wait a minute. I thought Doge was getting rid of...
They're going to cut back on unelected bureaucrats, the 2 unelected bureaucrats that are in charge of the Office of Government Efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I thought Doge was getting rid of government inefficiencies.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so he's talking about Doge is getting rid of the deep state, which is this...
Right, inefficient.
No, the deep state is this big conspiracy against Donald Trump. So those two are not compatible.
No, nothing they say makes sense, but okay.
Talk about Doge for a second. You just had this meeting with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy up here on the Hill. There's a lot of mystery about how that's going to work and how that outside group is going to interact with you all in Congress. What's your assessment of it after that meeting?
I think it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do really big transformational things.
Yes. You know who else did really big transformational things?
Hitler.
Yes. You know that's always the answer. That's the one quiz that's always the answer.
Yeah. I got that one right.
Hitler. Okay.
What's the Snagglepuss?
I'm instituting a new feature called Dumb Republican Bitches. The first one...
Do we need a jingle for this?
Big dumb sacks of hair. I mentioned this already. Trump tapped Kristi Noem. So did Corey Lewandowski. To head the Department of Homeland Security, but some residents back home doubt she's qualified to keep the nation safe.
You don't say.
Yeah. Her handling of... Well, I said unless we get invaded by puppies. But in that case, I think Tulsi Gabbard would take care of it because she's the one with the Cruella de Vil stripe in her hair.
Get those puppies!
Her handling of several key issues in her home state prompted some residents to express doubt she could successfully manage the sprawling bureaucracy at the DHS. Residents whose homes were damaged or destroyed in the June flooding expected their governor to seek a federal disaster declaration and deploy the National Guard to protect their property or help with recovery. But Noem, who at the time was the leading contender to be Trump's running mate until, she got those puppies.
Get those puppies!
Had already sent many of the state's guardsmen to the U.S.-Mexico border. There you go. She was not here for us, said one longtime Noem supporter. This is a home you ignored, your state. Noem's allegiance to Trump's hardline views has many South Dakota farmers who rely on immigrant workers to raise cattle and harvest crops nervous. They said, how are they going to do that, said one dairy farmer. Nobody will be filling the shelves. Nobody will be producing food. Oh, God. Can I just tell you, I just saw a story where the majority of farmers voted for Trump.
Uh-huh.
Between tariffs and deporting half half of our agricultural workforce. I'm like, now a warning. This just occurred to you now.
And that flies in the face of what I said yesterday about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wanting to get rid of corn syrup. That directly affects corn farmers.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, we're health nuts. I agree with him on that. I don't need corn syrup.
I agree with him on that.
I don't need corn syrup, but I'm like, but you're right. But the people that voted for, they have no idea what they were voting for. Exactly. You're just like, you were absolutely, this was like, to the 10th power voting against your self-interest this election in almost every group. These, Hispanic families that have undocumented people in the family and are like, oh, he doesn't mean me. He doesn't mean us. It's like, oh my God. Oh, this is a next. I've already covered this, but this next dumb Republican bitch is Nancy Mace. I mentioned this. This is just, they are always whiny little victims. Yeah. What did Alina Habba?
Bless you.
Thank you. Say, oh, people are picking on Pete Hegseth. It's like, what? What?
Well, he is a mommy's boy, so.
Oh my God.
He can't stand up to anybody.
Can you come back to the Senate? They're still being mean to me. One eyewitness to an Illinois man's alleged, and by the way, I defended her yesterday because I said, don't do that. We don't want this on either side, but this apparently didn't happen. One eyewitness says an Illinois man's alleged quote-unquote assault of Nancy Mace. He said that it was a handshake. Mace said she was physically accosted by what she deemed to be a pro-trans man. Witnesses at the scene said he did nothing more than shake the Congress member's hand at the House reception and ask her to protect the rights of transgender people. Mm-hmm. That's what she calls an assault by a pro-trans person. Mm-hmm. He was a former, actually, foster youth and award-winning advocate for children. He was arrested after Mace accused him of... All right, Alina Habba.
Bless you.
Thank you. Oh, I don't know how she got in the dumb Republican bitch stack, but...
I know how.
Here she is. Habba's defense of the first Trump team when migrant families were torn apart and were put in detention centers, she denied it ever happened and then asserted it won't happen after he's sworn in next. Oh, I see. So the thing that never happened the first time is definitely not going to happen again.
Right. I mean, doy.
I can see how she lost like every case against him. They said, an analyst said, Habba is clearly trying to say, don't worry, you won't see families separated like during Trump's first term. But then she gives away the game at the end by saying, well, we're going to have to remove entire families. Oh, my God. They're just, they have no principles of any kind, but just whatever Trump says. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And then try to convince us that stuff didn't. I don't know if you've seen any of the clips of Jacob Soboroff's film. Where just... what is it called? Separated, but it's about the child separation policy, and it's just takes you back there, and it's so heartbreaking. And the fact now, they're thinking, how could we make it even worse? You're like, oh, I know, we'll deport the entire family, even ones that are here legally. Like what? Okay. Oh yes, like Baby Goebbels was talking about that. Here is Stephen Miller. Mm-hmm.
Everything in the world is going to change on January 20th because the President of the United States is going to use every single legal, diplomatic, and financial tool to halt the entry of all illegal aliens into this country. There will be no benefits. There will be no entry. There will be no asylum. There will be no admission. You may be prosecuted. You will certainly be arrested, and you will absolutely be deported. The entire world, Mexico, Northern Triangle, Central America, South America, Africa, Asia, the Middle East, will get this message.
Jody.
Notice he didn't mention Norway or Sweden.
Right.
Or
That's weird.
Ireland
where all the hot
Britain.
blondes are from?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I swear to God, he is the creepiest.
He is really creepy.
An entire cast of cartoon villains. Oh, yeah.
There is no unlawful route to enter the United States of America. Every presidential authority, including his absolute authority under Article 2 to defend the territorial sovereignty of the United States, will be used, from the Department of Defense to the Department of Justice to Homeland Security and every single other lawful authority at his disposal. It will be the end of the invasion. It will be the beginning of the liberation.
Oh, shut up. God, do I really have to listen to him and look at... I always feel like he's making statements like hanging upside down in a cave. Okay. Jody, how did Kristen Sinema get in my dumb Republican bitch stack?
because she's sort of a dumb Republican.
Remember when she used to be a member of the Green Party?
Mm-hmm.
Outgoing, don't let the door hit you in the ass Senator Kirsten Sinema voted for the first time in weeks to oppose the nomination of Lauren McFerrin to continue serving on the National Labor Relations Board. Joe Manchin also voted against the nomination. Yep. So she hasn't voted on anything. She came back to vote against a Democrat.
She has not placed a vote since Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Right. So that means when Trump assumes office, he'll be able to appoint 2 Republicans, which will give Republican control of the board. So bye-bye labor protections and labor whatever. She had not voted since Thanksgiving. Her absence possibly costing Democrats the chance to clear some of their most highly contested judicial picks and other nominations. Thanks for nothing. Oh, she and Senator Manchin they're going to be retiring to the top of which mountain is that? I forget.
Shut the F up mountain?
Yes, that's where they'll be, the outgoing senators retiring to. The top of the thing I asked for.
Shut the up. Shut all the way the up until you reach the top of Shut Mountain, where there are no more ups to shut.
And thanks for nothing. Thanks for nothing. Thanks for stopping by, you grifters. Okay. Clearing out the refuse. 45 minutes after the hour. Hi, Charlie Pierce.
Oh, good morning, Starshine. Eric says hello.
Aw.
Thank you. Do you have some thoughts on Luigi Mangione this morning?
Yeah. I'm going to stick with what I've been writing on the blog, which is, he seems to be one of these kind of apolitical boyos who's figured it all out.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
He doesn't have any real ideology.
Yeah, he's a crazy person, first of all. Yeah.
He looks at Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, and he sees world historical figures instead of a couple of guys who got lucky with other people's money. And he's figured that, and now he's really not attached to anything. I'm more interested in the fact that he used a ghost gun.
Yeah. I mean,
which we can't get close to banning, and even Biden's regulation on them, he's hanging fire before the Supreme Court now.
Yeah.
That's something we can do something about. I'm not going to throw this guy into an easy right-left category because I don't think
you can.
No. Well, we were saying, Charlie, anger at the healthcare system is obviously bipartisan, but you wrote, which is interesting. It's prompted not a national conversation about how this country has too many guns floating around, but rather how completely in the head our healthcare system remains, and with the incoming administration warming up to roll back the Affordable Care Act, as well as taking a swipe at Medicare and Medicaid, old anxieties are coming back at high tide. I mean, again, not to politicize a tragedy, as they always tell us, but you're right. This is
but
if you're mad at the healthcare system now, wait till he destroys the Affordable Care Act with a concept and cuts your Medicare and Medicaid, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's he doesn't have a plan. He doesn't have concepts of a plan.
Yeah.
He just knows it's bad to say on TV that he doesn't have a plan. So he's learned a new word. Somebody taught him a new 7-letter word, concept.
That was a new answer though. Was when are we going to see the plan? He's like, you may not see it at all. Okay.
Well, it saves us from 2 weeks of anxiety waiting for him to release it.
Exactly. You made a point, I think someone mentioned this yesterday on the show, Charlie, but about United Healthcare in particular has come under public scrutiny as it dramatically increased care denials for its Medicare Advantage enrollees. The insurer more than doubled the rate of denials for care following hospital stays. Yeah. So you said there's no way around this kind of thing as long as healthcare is a for-profit operation. Second that 100,000%. You said the murder of Brian Thompson was a terrible act that solved absolutely nothing. I mean, that's exactly it. It just, again, brings back this discussion, Charlie, you and I have had for years about how Medicare for all, or at least a public option, would at least help things. But, I mean, and thank God the Affordable Care Act at least helps some. That you can't be.
It's like to me, it's like privatizing public schools.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If you privatize public schools, make them for-profit enterprises. Profit is always going to trump quality.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
especially now when our primary corporate business seems to be, moving ones and zeros around the internet.
Right. Yeah. But and plus it's just this whole inflation, the economy argument, blah, blah, blah. And look at all these billionaires I mean, the fact that they're on, what does he have, 11 billionaires
11
in his cabinet?
so
That's
far.
not even including Elon Musk. I mean, the fact that, once again, people really think those guys care what you pay for eggs or bacon or whatever.
Well, I have a baseline, which is I don't think we should have 11 billionaires in the United States.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and once again, here we go again. In a recent survey, a majority of Ohio economists said that mass deportations would harm the state's economy. No kidding. By the time he gets done with tariffs and deporting half of our agricultural workforce, with migrants playing such an important role in the economy, critics say removing them would be calamitous. A massive roundup would take an estimated $1.1 trillion to $1.7 trillion out of the U.S. economy. Just in Ohio alone, there's 580,000 migrants contributing $53 billion in annual economic output. And here's a point. I don't know if people make enough, Charlie. Undocumented workers typically pay payroll taxes even though they don't get any credit for it. So they subsidize Social Security and Medicare.
Yeah, they pay payroll taxes, they pay sales taxes in a lot of states. And places like New Hampshire, the sales taxes is crushing.
Right.
Stephanie Miller.
I'm here. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Huh?
Hi.
Hi. Okay. Dana Goldberg will be here shortly, and then everything will be better.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we call him, Mr. Haney? James Comer. Oh, by the way, wasn't he reappointed the head of whatever house something? And
Yeah.
Jared Moskowitz just went, "Oh, thank you, Lord, for answering my prayers." He's remarkably, what's the word? Incompetent. Oh my God!
And he won't stop talking about that cake.
About that Hunter cake?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not surprised. I mean, we said this all along, that he would be pardoned. But the interesting thing is, about the pardons, they were preemptive, which would apply to anything, which is proof that everything that we said he did, from money laundering to violation of the Foreign Agents Registration Act to tax evasion, he did. That's why Joe Biden made that pardon so extensive. And I think that, the ball is now going to be in the Trump Justice Cabinet's court.
Oh, my God. First of all, oh, my God, that is wildly untrue, right? This does not mean there is none of this stuff. Did they find anything on? This was obviously the gun charge and the missing the tax deadline, which he paid the taxes back. This is what they're going to say. Oh, this means he's guilty of all this bull that they found absolutely nothing on. This is why I understand why Adam Schiff and others are saying they don't want to take the pardon, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to immediately go, "Oh, see, I told you he was guilty of all this stuff," right?
It's an admission of guilt when you
right,
accept the pardon.
Right, and that is not what he was pardoned for.
Right.
Ugh.
Hunter Biden should have been in prison long before Joe Biden was ever elected president. If his name hadn't been Biden, he would have been in prison for a multitude of financial crimes, not to mention his drug-related crimes, his gun-related crimes, and the sex trafficking and all the other crimes that were so apparent and obvious on the laptop. So I believe that the Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are serious about reforming what we all refer to as the deep state, these intelligence and justice cabinet federal bureaucrats that have a two-tier system of justice that have weaponized their agencies against conservatives. And I believe that we can use our investigation of Hunter Biden as the blueprint for how to hold these bureaucrats accountable.
Oh my God, really? Yes, they should use yours as the template, because after how long and how much taxpayer money did you find absolutely nothing?
Sex trafficking?
He just that's what I mean. You could just throw that in there.
Just thinking of Matt Gaetz, and it just kind of came out.
Because he had D-pics on his.
I don't.
That's not sex trafficking.
That's not sex trafficking. That's.
And by the way, this proves Joe Biden's point entirely. Of they're still saying they're going to go after Hunter, and Tom Cotton's saying, "Oh, he can't take the fifth now. We're going to bring him in for blah blah." Are you kidding me? Okay, once again, I blame the mainstream media for this. So I don't know. Do we even care about polls anymore? A new poll found roughly 20% of Americans approve of President Biden's pardon of his son Hunter. You know what? The rest of all y'all can suck it, because y'all would have done the same thing.
I kind of believe that.
50% say they disapproved. One Republican said, well, it's just the fact that he went back on his word.
He did not.
Says the guy who voted for the biggest liar, who has gone back on his word on every single thing he's ever... Seriously? In the world of Donald Trump, you're going to say, like, oh, well, he gave his word. Right, well, this is before Trump won and appointed this gallery of people who have been on record as saying they're going to go after Hunter Biden.
What politician hasn't gone back on their word at some point in their political career?
But once again, this is how we normalize. Do you remember any coverage of all of the rogues gallery of people that Trump pardoned? Right, including his father-in-law, who he's now appointed ambassador. I mean, the fact that, I can't even. Jared Kushner, that they just, he gets $2 billion in Saudi Arabia, and wow, like magic, there's a new Trump project in Saudi Arabia that's about to open. The corruption is, I guess that's the what do you call it? I guess that's the tip, right? Is if you put all the lying and all the corruption right out front and election interference, then it doesn't matter.
Seems to be working.
Oh, God. All right, I need some love.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mike in Santa Cruz with a good point. He said, Steph, it's not how Harris lost, it's why Trump won. Whatever's wrong with Trump, they love it. It says something about them.
Yep.
True
Did you have a bloody nose on that one?
Pardon me? Oh, that's lipstick. I have on that one.
Okay.
How did they get? Wait, did you kiss the paper?
Yeah. Why is it red?
I think I might have wiped it. Listen, that's not important now. What's important is what Jeff has to say. Subject line: I'm afraid. We're all afraid, Jeff. I'm with you, baby. I'm very much in the same boat of the fear that everybody else is. I'm one of those people that's taking this extremely personally, as his quote-unquote presidency is already starting to erode away some of my the personal progress I've made. I'm in treatment for a depressive disorder, therapy and medications. These are paid for by my state's Medicaid. I'm trying hard not to succumb to the despair that these fascists apparently want. Jeff, that is the key. That's what they want. Do not let them take your joy. Do not. We're all afraid, but we're all in this together. So, I get it. It's what you do. It's what you do with that fear.
That's right.
As somebody famous said that I can't even think, so I can't even quiz you on it. So I don't know who said it, but somebody.
Your
somebody said
wires were flapping in your brain and they just connected it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Myrna, Steph, thank you for all you do. I know you hear this repeatedly, but you're instrumental in keeping so many of us semi-sane. Isn't that the story of our time? How completely crazy woman in her basement is keeping anyone
who
sane.
Never leaves her house.
Right? Is that?
I'm surprised you haven't newspapered over the windows.
I think it's pity. I think the public service I do for America is people are like, wow, things are bad. My life sucks, but whew, look at her. Right? Don't you think?
I mean, that's why people watch soap operas.
Yes, yes. I'm not that hot mess in her basement. It took a mighty set of ovaries for you to show up the day after the election to grieve with all of us. So appreciated. I think everyone is still in shock and reeling from the thoughts of what might lie ahead. Your show provides assurance that we are not alone. It helps keep us hopeful. Eventually, when we come up with a plan focused, thank you. Oh, and you're very pretty, too. Why don't we just lead with that?
That's why you read that.
That's why you read that, isn't it?
Now I got to get it somewhere. Now I must vent. I cannot listen to the back and forth carping of the pundit class about what went wrong. So many of them refuse to acknowledge the major role of racism and misogyny in the outcome of this election. I view the right-wing media sphere as a honeypot of hate, racism, misogyny, othering of every stripe and color. Our insecure, mostly white citizens come for the misogyny and racism and stay to absorb disinformation, all while feeding their insatiable and unexamined insecurity and hatred. Why are black women so clear-headed? They don't carry this. I need to be better than someone else. Thank you. They put their energy into actually being better than the rest of us. Talk about be best. She stole that, too, from Michelle Obama, who actually is best. That's true. We've been in the... Oh, God. I was just thinking of Melania's... I'm late. Sorry. Dinah next.
It's the Stephanie Miller Show.
After weeks of careful thought, I've decided the right thing for the Bureau is for me to serve until the end of the current administration in January and then step down. This is not easy for me. I love this place. I love our mission, and I love our people. But my focus is, and always has been, on us and on doing what's right for the FBI.
Boo! Boo! I agree with Dana Goldberg's co-host Allison Gill. Boo! Christopher Wray. Don't let the door hit you in the ass.
Raised by a wild pack of Jews, here's Dana Goldberg. Goldberg's here. Gold. Ha ha ha. Voted one of the top 5 funniest lesbians in America. Goldberg's here. Come stick with you, baby, for 1,000 years. Nothing gets better when Dana's here. Dana's here.
Oh, hi, Dana. Hi.
Hi, it's nice to see everybody again.
Yeah. Good to see you too. Yeah, no, I agreed with Allison, who was just saying like he was weak. It's not like we were huge fans of Christopher Wray, but it is still so irregular. He's Trump appointed. This would be the second Trump appointed FBI director that would not, serve out his 10-year term, right?
100%. And Allison, I know she couldn't say it on the Stephanie Miller Show, but she had some very choice words on the Daily Beans that I read yesterday.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of bleeping. Yeah, he's a coward. Make Trump fire you. You have a 10-year contract. You have 3.5 years remaining. I don't know what the deal is if he resigns, if he gets paid out the rest of the contract. But are you really that dumb? Like, let him fire you and at least get paid out the rest of your contract.
Yeah, and Allison pointed out he's the one that, didn't want to serve the search warrants, on Mar-a-Lago that, blocked. Someone else brought up Kavanaugh. He's the one that let hundreds of tips about Brett Kavanaugh just go in the dumpster.
Thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, was he a great FBI director? No. I mean, he made a lot of mistakes, but he was appointed by Trump. And then I just think it's the best thing for the FBI. You think Kash Patel is better for the FBI?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Stand
really
up. Make a stand. Like, it's to make him fire you. Somebody was saying, I don't know, Dana, that by him stepping down, it means that he couldn't put Kash Patel in as an acting, I guess. I don't know. Hopefully.
Isn't Kash Patel going to be an acting FBI director the entire time anyway?
I don't know.
Everyone in this administration is going to be acting. Yeah. None of them are qualified for the positions they're in.
I know. But who knows where we're at, right? Like Pete Hegseth, that seemed like that was dead, and now who knows? Depends on the cowardice, of people like Joni Ernst, who you've got to be kidding me. A combat veteran who was sexually assaulted is going to vote for Pete Hegseth. Oh my God.
I know. Listen, we've been talking about it. It's the FAFO part. I can't say the first letter, so it's the F around and find out.
Yeah.
We're going to see all of this go down.
Well, yeah, by the way, to your point, you just tweeted some stuff about tariffs. The 60% tariff on China that he's threatening would result for U.S. households, would translate to an annual increase of approximately $1,950 extra per month, right? And you said here it is in black and white for all of you who think tariffs won't hurt the U.S. consumer. Thank you.
And now Trump in every interview he's saying is like, yeah, maybe the United States is going to have to pay them. Yeah, maybe I can't bring down the price of groceries. Everyone fell for this grift. They fell for this grift. I have almost no sympathy.
Yeah.
They fell. Educate yourselves.
And how about Krista Welker asking, can you guarantee that this one, prices won't be higher for American consumers with this? He's like, I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee tomorrow. I'm like, oh, that's what you want to hear from the guy with the nuclear codes.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. I don't know. Right. That's the answer you want. But By the way, I love this story because you travel a lot. You said on an AA flight that landed at JFK waiting for a gate, 2 littles were crying because of their ear pain on landing. After a couple of minutes, the flight attendant started singing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. The entire plane joined in, and the kids stopped crying, and this is the world that I want to live in.
half of the adults stopped crying too. I mean, because a lot of us were upset. But they did everything they could to soothe the kids. Everyone's like, I love on the social media, everyone's like, you should have done this, you should have done that. And I'm like, lady, these weren't my children, but also their parents did everything they could. And it was just a really touching moment.
Yeah.
That everyone on the plane started singing and the kids got distracted and that was it. It was done.
Yeah. I know. I was saying how many, incidents are the opposite, even that I'm experiencing personally, where Donald Trump has just emboldened people to act like jerks, in whatever, setting it is. And it's just, So
that's exactly what it is. I think I posted on social media, Kamala Harris's stepdaughter.
Oh.
Emma.
Yes.
She was doing this incredible artwork on one of the pieces of clothing that she designs. And I was like, why are you such a cool human? That was amazing to watch. And some jerk got on there and was like, too bad you just got to have her mother-in-law's help to be a model. And I literally commented, why was that necessary? Do you feel better about yourself now? Like, what are you proud of what you just did? And there was no comment back from them. So maybe at some point someone looks at themselves and goes, maybe that wasn't necessary. But you know what I mean? I just hope that there's something there. But yeah, they are so emboldened and mean since this happened, since November 5th, like in a way that is shouldn't be surprising, but it is.
They're always the victim. We were saying Alina Habba.
Bless you.
Thank you. Saying like, oh, they're picking on Pete Hegseth. They're picking on him. It's like, and look at this Nancy Mace thing. She said I was assaulted by a pro-trans person, and it turns out it was a handshake from an activist who just said, could you please vote for trans rights?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it wasn't even yes, it was a pro-trans person, but it was at a foster care.
Right.
It was literally, one, she's never been in the foster system. She's never adopted a child. I don't know why she was speaking there. So someone who actually is doing the work out there went up, shook her hand, which I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole right now, but shook her hand and just said, will you please protect the trans kids? That was it.
Yeah.
I was assaulted, and she's like, I have a wrist brace, and now I'm going to be fine. And I'm like, you must have been fine because you were apparently okay to tweet that out, so your wrist might not hurt that badly.
Right.
She's an awful human being right now.
Yeah. And plus, I said at the top of the show, Dana, what's a pro-trans person? We should all be pro-trans. Like, I don't know. I want everyone to live their life in peace, no matter who you are. I mean, it wasn't even a trans person. It's like, what's a pro-trans person? Someone that thinks we all should have equal rights? Ooh, crazy, woke.
I know. Yeah, no, it's disgusting. I was sort of shocked by the Supreme Court actually coming down and saying that teachers don't have a right to out kids to their parents. And Alito, of course, in his dissent was like, what about parental rights? And I'm like, okay, if you're going to follow that school of thought, then the Tennessee case that you have in front of you, if you believe in parental rights, every parent should be able to decide whether their child has access to gender-affirming care. So I hope that one of the justices that's not bought out by a billionaire uses Alito's own dissent against him in this other Supreme Court case, because it's all BS.
Yeah. So we're going to see that these, as you said, ridiculously unqualified nominees, in terms of the cowardice of the Republican Party. Who was it? Oh, Blumenthal, just we played earlier, said if it was a secret vote, none of them would get in. Does that tell you everything you need to know about the cowardice of the Republican Party and the bullying
100%.
and mob-like quality of the Trump administration? So the incoming Senate majority leader, the reporting is working behind the scenes with his Republican colleagues to cripple the nominations of at least 4 of Trump's nominees, including Tulsi Gabbard at the top of the list.
Thank God.
But someone said you can't have all the same senators go out and say no against all the picks. So he's coming up with some kind of rotation scheme, like. Do you know what I mean? Like where someone, will take the bullet for X nomination, but maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm a sweet summer child.
I think so.
I still can't. I mean, I don't know how many of these. It's hard to wrap my head around that really Bobby Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard and Kash Patel and Pete Hegseth are all going to get
This
in.
is-
They are
yeah, it's
wildly
horrifying.
unqualified.
Yeah, even though he didn't write the book, The Art of the Deal, if you pay attention to what he's doing, when he put Matt Gaetz up and everyone lost their minds, and they should have, because he has, raped an underage girl and there's an investigation against him and everyone lost their minds, even Republicans. All of a sudden, Matt steps out and they put in Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi looks like a better option because she didn't statutorily rape an underage girl, but she defended him in the impeachment trial. She's a foreign agent. She got a $25,000 donation and dropped the lawsuit. So what you're doing is he puts someone up that's horrifying. Everyone freaks out. They drop out. They put someone in who looks less horrifying, but is actually more dangerous.
But is on record,
Part of the deal.
on tape, saying she will do the exact same things that Matt Gaetz said he would do, right?
Yeah.
We'll
It's
prosecute
just
the
that
prosecutors.
She is smarter.
Right. Yeah.
She's smarter than Matt Gaetz is.
Yeah. She's like,
I hate to give her that much credit, but I think she is.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like legal corruption Barbie or whatever. I don't know which Barbie.
That's exactly who she is. You should trademark that one for sure.
Yes, this is a Tennessee Senator Kenneth Yeager's recent arrest while driving a campaign-funded car on a Georgia vacation. He was the DUI guy that peed his pants, I believe.
Yeah, that's why I started calling him the GOP with 2 E's.
Yeah. What? And his name is Yeager?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He's the Jägermeister.
Well.
So he was dipping into campaign finances to lease them on top of the DUI, and he is your new nominee to be the head of the Department of Defense, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Okay, Justice Department veterans feel Trump's nominee to lead the Civil Rights Division signals his administration will invert its legal purpose. Yeah, it is weird. It's going to be, every department's going to be the opposite of what they're supposed to be. Yeah.
This appointee is terrifying for the trans and the LGBTQ community.
Right. Harmeet Dillon, that's her name, right?
Yep.
She's a prominent anti-woke activist. Oh, God save me. Confirmed she'll be in a position to reverse many of President Biden's civil rights initiatives. So she will be in charge of suppressing civil rights, essentially, right?
She is. She's actually known for being a detransition lawyer, meaning she defends people that feel like their transition was a mistake. It is a minute amount of people. Yeah. She is a horrible woman, and the fact that she's going to be in the Civil Rights Division is terrifying for a lot of people.
And is she the election denier, or am I thinking of some other nominee for something that's
all of them? All of them.
Carrie Lake, obviously. She's
right.
an election
Like that seems to be the job one is you have to say that Joe Biden lost the 2020 election. I mean, it's just we are fully in the upside down. Oh, here is your friend Allison Gill's tweet. Chris Wray is weak. He wanted to block Garland's search of Mar-a-Lago. He oversaw an FBI that refused to execute Garland's search warrants for the architects of the coup, and now he is obeying in advance by resigning like a coward. Don't let the door hit you, jerk. That's the clean version. Yours is news with swears, and then she's
Yeah, I can't even say this one. It's the tweets in front of me, but yeah.
But it's just we've been saying this whole Joe and Mika thing. This bending the knee and obeying in advance is just. Dana, it is such a critical moment in our history, and we keep saying there are democracy warriors out there like Mark Elias and David Frum, and people that are our friend Harry Littman just resigned the LA Times rather than his piece at his column at the LA Times rather than bend the knee to Trump, which the paper is doing.
Yeah. A lot of countries around the world, they have experience fighting fascism and oligarchs. We don't. We don't as a country. We're sort of babies in that, but we better learn very fast because otherwise this is going to be a long road. But there's other countries around this world that have been able to fight this crap. So I sure hope we are taking a page from their book and people are actually paying attention.
Hey, you know who else said this is a really dangerous time is like the 1930s in Germany and just, stuff like that? Mitch McConnell.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes my blood boil. I'm like, I can't. He's stepping down. Step down, Mitch. Don't fall down.
The king.
He did fall down.
Oh, he did fall down.
Yeah.
He is the king always and forever of now a warning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, between him and what's her name with her strong-worded emails and on the East Coast, which one is that?
Susan Collins. Very
Susan
concerned.
Collins. Between her concerned emails and Mitch McConnell's late warnings.
Now a warning?
Yeah, she sounded very concerned after her Pete Hegseth meeting. Very concerning, the allegations. As you can imagine, Dana, she's very concerned about the very concerning allegations of sexual assault and
and is still going to vote for him.
Yeah. Well, of course. What was your point? Yes.
Yeah.
Drinking.
Although that might be one of the senators that works out a deal where she gets to get away with her concern this time because there's a rotation that skips her. We'll see.
Right. Who's up and next on the pie wheel? Okay, 20 minutes after the hour. Our beloved, as we call you. Hello, little angel monkey, lamb chop lips. Hi.
Hi, it's so good to see you. You're like medicine. You're like chicken soup for the soul, Steph.
You too. We really, what was that one text from my dad? Was that, or my dad says, someday we're going to publish our text. They're the filthiest, funniest text chains ever.
So naughty.
Anyway, what are your thoughts on Luigi Mangione? What's...
I don't know. I don't have a lot of thoughts about the guy. It's actually, I do have a lot of thoughts about the guy. It's so many things. But first of which, I just want to say that for myself, I don't know, but I don't go around like usually thinking that, people who murder people are hot, but whatever, to teach his own. But, the guy, I guess, he was obviously troubled, clearly.
Yeah.
But they found him in a McDonald's, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Someone said
Nothing good
Burger
happened
King should
there.
immediately say, Burger King, we won't snitch on you, which is terrible. I agree. No, I agree. We played Governor Shapiro earlier. I don't like the word celebrate about, any, because somebody was saying like, this one, Ari tweeted, person of interest in the killing, Luigi Mangione, is being painted as left wing by the New York Post, but his X account shows someone whose thinking is shaped by the online right. He seemed to be a Tucker Carlson fan, Peter Thiel fan, but there's Laura Ingraham on Q going, oh, the left is celebrating it. I'm like, no. And I think as we've been saying, Joe, the anger over our healthcare system is bipartisan. But, again, no, on the left, we don't celebrate senseless gun violence. We're the one that's trying to stop it. And, oh, by the way, we're the ones trying to fix the healthcare system, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And by the way, a lot of people after the election who had pre-existing conditions found themselves Googling, what happens to my health care now because they voted for Donald Trump without realizing that Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act were the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And there he is saying he just has concepts of a plan and blah, blah, blah. I mean, Obamacare stinks. It's terrible. That's all you can see it in his thought bubble. Just black guy bad, black guy bad. That's all he cares about. Yeah, go ahead.
And he never had a plan because he never cared. I mean, he never, ever cared. What he had was the House repealed it. And then, of course, John McCain's infamous Thom. Thank you, John McCain. May you rest in peace. But Trump never had a plan to replace it. He doesn't have one now because he doesn't care. He never cared.
But he just lies. Oh, my God. Every single thing in that interview was a lie. I saved Obamacare. I mean, he is just going to rewrite history forever. And it is more important than ever that the mainstream media do their job. He counts on that he's going to tell 150 lies, so you'll let, 75 of them go by at least, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, he everything about him is a lie. Everything he says is a lie. I don't know if you saw that, but there was a picture of him with Prince William. Prince William is 6'3". Donald Trump says he's 6'3", 215, right? Yeah. But 6'3" next to 6'3" William was really short, so it's a little bit weird. But everything he says is a lie. But they have to. I don't care how tiring and exhausting it is to push back. You can't let any of them slip. You got to get them on every single one of them.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they've never done that.
Yeah, I know. By the way, you seeing him overseas, you said, I got to say, it ain't a lot of fun watching world leaders who know better kiss ass and obey in advance when it comes to an orange-painted, incurious, idiot, traitorous, rapist, wannabe dictator who will every one of them over for Putin the first chance he gets. Not to mention just what an unbelievable, complete international embarrassment he is, right? Like the fact that he's already using his picture with Jill Biden in Notre Dame Cathedral to sell his cheap-ass cologne. You have flashbacks to him shoving the Prime Minister of Montenegro and walking in front of the Queen. You're just like, oh, God, he's such a boob.
That's the thing. There's so much, there's all this dread, and I write about this a lot. There is just legitimate dread, but some of it is just every now and then I'll be cleaning something. I go, oh my God, Melania's gonna decorate it for Christmas again, and then I'll be like, oh my God, the handshake, the Macron handshake.
Oh, what was? What did Rude Pundit say? It's like a walrus became a man and had never shook hands with a human before. It's like, what the hell was that?
It looked like Frankenstupid was trying to take the petit president's arm off.
Stephanie Miller.
I forgot to finish reading the love letter from Myrna that I slammed myself into a heartbreak.
All right.
But I feel it's important. Steph, we've been through the crucible before. We've emerged toward a more perfect union each time. The crucibles that he mentions, the revolution, the Civil War, the civil rights struggles in the 60s. Thanks again for staying in the game, playing with all your heart. You'll never know how appreciated you are, but it'll come back to you, guaranteed. Thank you, Myrna. Yeah, we got to stay in the fight, Dana. You know, it's. I think everybody's dealing with it a different way. These two are...
Yeah.
They're addicted to connections. I don't know what that's about.
New York Times connections? Yes.
Yeah.
I do it all the time.
Yes.
The purple category is psychotic.
It is psychotic.
Sometimes I get that first.
Yeah.
What is going on when I get it
got
first?
it second yesterday.
Oh, I shouldn't have brought
Oh
this
no,
up.
it's absurd. It's like if
Did you
there
do
was an
today?
80s if you think of an 80s, like all the 80s movies except take away the first letter, add
Right.
end at the end, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Like, the
exactly.
purple
And it's one
category is
person that
stupid.
does it. And did you do today's yet?
Not yet.
Oh, wait till you see
Wait till
today's.
you see today's.
I feel like I've landed
boy.
on a different planet. Okay,
Every day I calm myself at night. I do the spelling bee. I do Wordle in the morning with my mother to make sure she's alive. We send it to
I
each-
pretend that
and
I'm
we
married to
send it
Secretary of
to each
State
other.
Tia Leone, and now I've finished the series, Madam Secretary, and now I am bereft. I have once again been left by a beautiful woman who apparently is still
Happens.
dating Tim Daly. Damn. Huh?
It happens.
Anyway, no, it's like I wanted to live in the fictional world where, you know, because they say it's based on Hillary, where she becomes president. And I just was like,
Keep torturing yourself.
Exactly. That was torture on a number of levels. You're never going to date Tia Leone, and apparently we're never going to have a woman president. Can I just say, Bill Clinton made me re-angry all over again, as I know you are, about 2016. But just in talking about the media, which is the same thing we dealt with in 2024, but about the only story was Hillary's emails. And it was
Absolutely.
such bull. He had to remind us, there was not one classified email. The entire story was bull, right? I mean, it just...
Yeah.
But that's not...
what-
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, one of my favorite memes I saw is, after Luigi, obviously everyone
Luigi
was like,
Mangione?
Yeah.
Ah.
So you could find out anything you wanted to know about Mangione in 25 seconds, but you couldn't find Kamala Harris's her platform. So don't tell me that you couldn't find where her stance is on things. They
Yeah.
found out everything they needed to know about Luigi. It's just ridiculous.
Luigi Mangione. Yeah. It's what they served between the pasta fagioli and the manigat on The Sopranos.
Yeah.
At
And
Vesuvio's.
separate from whether or not I agree with what he did, I'm not even going to get into that. I think people know where I stand mostly. But even I was like, am I also attracted to this guy?
Right, I know.
Dana Louise Goldberg.
I'm a lesbian through and through, but I was like, okay, let's take away the fact that he did shoot someone in cold
Dana
blood.
Louise Goldberg.
That thirst trap was attention getting.
All right. Just go back to your connections. 29 minutes after the hour.
That's what I said. I don't necessarily agree with what he did, but I'm not dead.
Stephanie Miller.
Would you do me the very great honor of eating my shorts?
Haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah, why not?
It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Dana Goldberg's here. So we were just talking about, yes, our being re-angry at the misogyny all over again in 2016 and 2024. Interesting. Marion wrote, Dear Steph, I guess this is a love letter. Let's see.
Okay.
All we hear about is the lack of male support for Harris, and no one thought to address the limited movement and support from females toward Harris. Sure, a majority of women might feel some type of way about having their rights stripped from them, but an even larger segment of women, mostly Christian conservative, had difficulty accepting a female as leader of the free world. For this group of women, taking a more submissive role to their male figures placed in authority by their God is the more obedient way to be. Oy. Moreover, these types of women were never going to defy the will of their husbands, pastors, or political leaders, even if it is counterintuitive to protecting their personal freedoms. It wasn't just the male vote or the black male vote or the Latino male vote that reinforced the glass ceiling. Women handed their male counterparts the power tools and padlocks to ensure that women remain in their ordained places.
Wow.
That is depressing
Really,
and probably true.
Yeah, very well written, actually. Yeah, I agree.
We were talking about, what is Kelsey, what's his name?
Oh, Kelsey,
Travis Kelce?
Travis Kelce's wife.
Right, has the new #1 podcast, which,
No,
you know.
not Travis Kelce, his brother.
Oh, God, here we go
Travis
again.
Kelce's dating Taylor
Right.
Swift.
It's Jason Kelsey's
Anyway, I was glad that, it was a woman. I'm like, oh, good, because we need to pierce this bro spear of douchebags. But apparently, you were saying that she said something about, that she never asked her husband to help with the kids.
yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah. And she's young, right?
She
Like,
is.
she's...
Yeah, they have 3 kids.
Yeah. Like, so what's up with women, Dana? What's up?
I actually don't get it. You know that. I think that this Stockholm syndrome with a lot of the women in the South, like it happens with a lot of people at Fox News. Megyn Kelly's one of them. Like, doors open. You could leave if you want to. She chooses not to. It's just, it blows my mind. But I think that the listener that wrote in is exactly right. We've got a white woman problem in this country, and we need to do something about it. It's not just all of the other people. But the same thing, when the Hispanic vote went up, you have to remember the Hispanic vote is only a small percentage. So when we say that 80% of Hispanic men voted for him, that number is so much smaller than saying even 65% of white women voted for him. That number is massive. But the way it looks, the optics of it looks like all of a sudden it was, the Hispanic men that caught. No, it was still white women and
By
white
the way,
men.
you know what else I saw became one of the top podcasts this week in the top 10? It would be Daily Beans.
Yes, I saw that.
With Allison Gill and Dana Goldberg. Why am I doing that with my neck?
I don't
know. I'm very proud of
No,
We are very
congratulations.
proud indeed.
Congratulations. Yeah.
There was the number 6 in the political podcast and 25 out of all of podcasts.
That
are
is
on there. It's sort of crazy.
stupendous.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I just
very proud of
that
my
was like
co-host.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I was like, ugh. Okay, I was very excited for you. Well, I actually I wanted to get your take. There's been so many of these pieces, so I want to get your take on this. This one by Max Burns. Democrats are checked out after their drubbing. Here's how they can re-engage, because we know the media landscape is changing, obviously,
Yeah.
So he writes, the media industry was always facing serious financial headwinds and corporate restructuring before Trump cruised to victory. Now executives of both legacy media outlets and social media companies are facing an unexpected aftershock from this year's nonstop campaign cycle. Call it the Great Democratic Checkout. Democrats are tuning away from news networks and social media platforms in numbers that are impossible to ignore. MSNBC and CNN saw their ratings slashed in half as exhausted Democrats tuned out post-election. On Twitter, lefty users have deserted the platform in droves in favor of Blue Sky. Print outlets are faring even worse, with furious Democrats still canceling their Washington Post subscriptions after they, spiked, obviously, endorsements of Kamala at some of these papers. 1 in 10 Washington Post subscribers have quit the paper since October. This raises an existential question for media outlets and for Democrats. Where will all those disillusioned eyes go? Decades of plans to build left-of-center alternatives to outlets like Fox have amounted to not very much. With the Democratic media landscape fractured and small, it's struggling to compete with well-funded outlets like Fox and even new media efforts like, what's his name, Ben Shapiro.
Yep.
That's a worrying sign, Max writes, for 2026, 20 and 2028. With investors, here's the part that's going to make Chris and My's head explode simultaneously because it's in every article. With investors hesitant to fund left-wing media outlets since the failure of Air America.
Our old nemesis, Air America.
Would you like to review the fun facts about Air America? Even Air America executives who we know and would tell you it was the worst business plan ever. Nobody in charge had ever done radio. Right. Nobody had ever programmed radio. They famously, Al Franken's producer made $750,000 a year. Al Franken made millions.
And they had a staff of writers.
Yes. Yeah. Progressive infrastructure could not support that business plan at that time when we were, just starting. Again, Ed Schultz and I were never Air America. But anyway, and not to say people were not wildly talented. Al Franken went on to be a great senator.
Absolutely.
I understand Rachel Maddow's done well for herself.
She has.
She's a fantastic television.
She was in our time slot, actually, and we kind of vanquished her.
We were the first show.
Yes.
They were the first show that got canceled.
Right.
Mark Maron obviously has a fantastic, successful podcast. But my point, Dana, is none of them had the very successful radio broadcasters like Randy Rhoads and Thom Hartmann are still doing it. Ed Schultz continued to do it till he passed, obviously. But so anyway, it's those people. We've been doing it successfully for 20 years. So this is what kills me. Is this just that became in every story? Oh well, because Air America liberal radio doesn't work. And meanwhile.
But also, what is the source for that story? I'm just curious what you're reading right now.
This is Max Burns. I'm just reading, but
where's Max Burns at?
I don't know where this. I'm sorry, I'm not sure where this.
Oh no, that's okay. I'm not
initially.
quizzing you on it. I just think it would be funny if it was from one like CNN or one of the ones that no one's watching anymore.
Right,
and my point is, you want to know where they're turning to? They're turning to public journalism. They're turning to the Stephanie Miller Show. They're turning to the
Daily Beans. Yeah.
They are turning to Under the Desk News on TikTok.
Bob
My
Cesca
dear
Show.
friend V.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
So those are the places they're turning to. I still think they're informing themselves. I think they're just enchanted with mainstream media, but I don't think they're not. Educating themselves anymore.
I hate to be such a mercenary, damn it, but I could count. I have never gotten this much email that people are literally saying, "You're the only thing I can listen to." I mean, and that's not because I'm so great. It's because of the Joe and Mikas and the people bending the knee and exhibiting cowardice. That's not or Democrat bashing. The circular firing squad. It's not what people want right now.
I think some people are going to hold fast to this, and I think other people are literally just taking a break. They may have canceled their subscriptions. They may come back. I have friends, dear friends, that have always been politically active, but they're like, I haven't watched the news since November 5th. I know I need to come back to it. I need to take my head out of the sand. But right now, it's okay to put your oxygen mask on and step away from the news for a little while. This is all going to continue to go on, whether you're watching it or not. So take a break, refuel, get ready to fight, and then come back.
So let me just finish up his take. He said Democratic audiences simply have no media outlets comparable to the constellation of conservative and even far-right channels popping up across the internet. That's in part because the billionaire investors now required to build and sustain those networks aren't keen to platform voices calling for higher taxes and more accountability for America's wealthiest magnates.
Right.
Might be something to that. Anyway, Democrats scared away from populism by Trump's own extremely successful demagoguery seem less inclined than ever to follow the public's lead. This should be a layup for a Democratic Party that has among its strengths messaging pros like AOC, who she just hit, I think, 1 million followers on Blue Sky. Anyway, he finishes, if Democrats want to persuade investors to back left-of-center media networks, they'll first need to show their support by financing those operations internally. That means redirecting the flood of DNC cash currently feeding Beltway consultant class and making real investments in media talent and with an emphasis on YouTube, podcasting instead of traditional talking head media. A strong bench of lefty influencers would do wonders for Democrats' ability to set the media agenda. Instead of scoffing at the right's success, it's time to draw lessons from booming conservative networks and ditch the stuffy scripted stump speeches. Democrats were once masters of the populist message. If they want to rebuild after last month's electoral disaster, they need to reconnect with that part of their political psyche fast. That's the point. The talented this lineup on SiriusXM Progress, it's fantastic. And by the way, funny. Dino Badala, John Fugelsang, you and Allison, funny. We're not doing talking points. Yes.
And this was written by Max Burns.
Max Burns.
And just got a text from our lovely, talented program director at SiriusXM, Sean Bertolo, that Max guest hosts on SiriusXM Progress.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
There you go.
Yes.
But yeah, this lineup on Free Speech TV, I'm just saying there are you and Allison. We were saying there are such strong, and you're right. The ones that are successful are great broadcasters that tend to be entertaining, smart, funny, whatever.
Absolutely.
You know.
And I'll tell you what, if for some reason I don't think they're going to get rid of TikTok, but there are TikTokers out there that people look to for the news that have millions and millions of followers. Those followers will go wherever they go. Give them something on media. What you need, though, is people that don't care about the bottom line as much as they care about our democracy. And that is harder to find right now. These people that are already uber rich, who could lose a little bit of money out of their pocket, who care more about putting our country first, that's what we need. And I don't know if they're out there.
And also, Dana, I guess, my point, this is why, again, and I've had Joe and Mika on the show, but the reason there's such backlash is because they're just modeling cowardice, and it's contagious. And I think,
100%.
and the morning show is the anchor of your network. So in my opinion, there is a niche. There's a lot of great, progressives that don't bend the knee at MSNBC. My opinion is they need to replace the morning show. And I think you're right that people, when they rest up after the holidays and this real nightmare starts, will be back. But you got to have progressive warriors like you and Allison and the people that are. You guys are not by accident in the top 10. It's because you're entertaining.
Yes,
absolutely.
Your news with swears.
We are news with swears. We see a lot of bad words, but we also make people laugh. When people write in, they tell us how nice it is for us to disseminate the information so it's digestible. But we also keep them sane through laughter. Both of us were stand-ups. I'm still performing a lot of the time. Allison's a great stand-up. And there's something about that equation that makes people okay and makes them tune in, because it's not like
Hal Sparks is doing a great
does
a great show every day. Bob Seska, I think, is
John
one of the best.
Fugelsang has a podcast in addition to his SiriusXM show.
So I can't.
And he's an incredible stand-up.
So I'm just saying, wealthy liberals, there are a lot of amazing progressive voices that a lot of people are tuning into. We've been number one everywhere we are. There is an audience. If you can, nobody wants to hear just the talking points on either side, but it is, I've said this a million times, but I can't tell you how many times people have said, if you went back to your Republican roots, you would have 500 stations tomorrow and be a multimillionaire. But,
but that's not what's important to you. Saving our democracy is what's important to you.
Well, I would like to be able to afford a couple of things that,
maybe you want to
headphones
get out
that
of your
work
basement
and a
one
couple
day,
other.
but whatever.
Just headphones that
whatever
work.
that tin can is that you're projecting in this morning. Maybe we can fix that.
There's a reason why Dana doesn't come in anymore. She's like, I don't want to be associated with that studio.
Whatever. All right, love you. All right, we have one more segment with Dana Goldberg.
Right.
46 minutes after the hour, we roll along on the Stephanie Miller Show.
Stephanie Miller.
Why don't you dip yourself in flour and make a skank biscuit?
Debriana Mancini and Lisa Lucas, the authors of That Time We Ate Our Feelings.
I love that title.
I know, it's so perfect. Yeah. Good morning, gals.
Morning. We're still eating our feelings. It just never ends. That's right.
Well, this is described as born out of the fear and uncertainty of the COVID-19 pandemic. That Time We Ate Our Feelings is our love letter to comfort food, storytelling, and you. We hope you find a lot of warmth, care, and new favorite meals in these pages. Doesn't this feel like we're in another trauma? Someone said like 2016, I was so depressed, but this election felt like the second plane hitting the tower. I mean, people are having a hard time. COVID, they're literally comparing it to other traumas in America.
This so true. We're bottoming out. I mean, it's just, we thought at this point that we would not be doing this anymore.
Well, our publisher was like, now you got to calm down the COVID and you got to calm down the trauma and, blah,
we're
blah,
coming
blah.
out of that.
That's not going to happen again. So you got to make it a cookbook. And we're like, oh my God, it's so relevant.
Yeah. Two of my best friends and I went to see Wicked yesterday and we realized we haven't been out to a movie. And I feel like a lot of COVID stuck. Like we just didn't, we don't go out as much. We don't do some of the same things. It changed our behavior in a lot of ways, but that was
everything.
Everything changed.
Yeah. Yeah, but
we were. You couldn't get sugar, you couldn't get flour, and toilet paper, as we know, was.
Yeah. And you want to know how sad? We went to an 11:45 movie, and we were all old, and we were like, I can't read. What cinema? Where's cinema one?
In the
what?
Morning?
Yes.
Oh my God. We went to see Nosferatu last night, so we've been up a long time.
Oh my God.
So, but obviously, it's interesting timing going into the holidays because, we always say food is love. It has, we connect it to the holidays, but that's why people needed it during COVID. But so these are 150 recipes for comfort food from the heart. Sunnier days ahead, Meyer lemon squares. I want to be curled up on my couch with the cat stuffed meatloaf. That's weird. Salt roasted potatoes to get you through the night. It's a warming, judgment-free collection of recipes. Now, I've confessed, although if I hadn't, Chris would have told you, I am a crappy cook. Well, so I appreciate that these seem relatively idiot-proof, these recipes.
We are not chefs. We are home cooks. So we're doing whatever. We just started doing what everybody was doing. Yeah. Cooking at home. We both know how to cook. We come from cooking families. We had no idea when we started doing this live on Facebook. I called Lisa and I was like, you go Tuesday, I'll go Thursday, and we'll see who joins us. When we started, we cooked for 143 days in a row every single day.
Wow.
And it was helping people cope, and we had a carrot cake go viral, and next thing we knew, we had thousands of followers all around the world, and people needed us, and we needed them, and we didn't know what it was called, but we started a micro food community, and it just
well, I think people are using all kinds of coping mechanisms now to deal with this period. Like we just keep saying, you take care of yourself, whatever you. But food is self-care. I mean, I'm balls deep in Madam Secretary because A, I want to marry Tia Leone, and B, I want to live in a world where we elected a really smart lady president. So, but I just whatever, dog videos, cat videos, whatever it is that you need to sort of disconnect.
I know. I just got a new computer, and the computer guy said to me, because I had my Harris Waltz sticker on the back, he goes, she didn't win. Do you want to take this off? I said, no.
No. And also eat me. And I'm a chef, so I meant that in a really...
Oh my God!
Yeah. So this was a Facebook sensation, Corona Kitchen, right? But these, and plus it's so pretty, and the pictures are so nice.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's to the lovely and talented Panina Meisels, who was just turns out Jacques Pepin and Julia Child's photographer, who was part of the community and
Yes, it is the Stephanie Miller Show. Dana Goldberg's here.
Everything's better.
Everything is better. Hey, we're having a pardon party.
Okay.
President Biden enacted the largest single-day act of clemency in modern history, commuting the sentences of 1,500 individuals and granting 39 presidential pardons. You know what? Yay, good. I am so sick of this double standard. You know,
and most presidents do this at the end of their administration anyway.
Right.
This isn't like something that's new.
Right.
Or that our point about Democrats just playing by rules that no one else plays by, that don't seem to exist, that exist not at all on their side.
We have got to stop doing that. If it's not illegal, do it.
Right. I mean, for instance, Letitia James, hero of democracy.
You call her Tish because you're like
I call her Tish.
Yeah.
She's my Tish.
Up,
She's
Tish?
my bish. I don't know what that means.
No.
What does that mean?
No.
Okay, Dana. New York Attorney General Letitia James said he cannot escape a roughly $500 million civil fraud fine, as his lawyers insisted just weeks ago. This is this presidential immunity decision is so ridiculous in the first place, but it does not apply to state stuff.
No, it does not.
No, it does not.
And you know what? Let Elon Musk pay it off for him. I don't care. That they need to make sure that that money gets paid. I don't care who pays it, to be honest with you, at this point, because he's been breaking laws all over the place.
Yeah.
If it's a private citizen, so be it. But he should not get off the hook for this. Elon Musk paid so much money to get him into the White House anyway. Why don't you keep going?
Yeah, $250 million bought an American election. Good God. So an American man was released from a Syrian, was found in a Syrian prison.
That was a big deal.
Dana, I cannot imagine this is not going to affect Tulsi Gabbard's chances. Just Assad being newly, in them finding these torture centers and all that stuff. I mean, stuff that she is on record as denying, and defending him, right?
I really hope. I think out of everyone, and I know that there are a lot of them are dangerous. Tulsi scares me almost the most because she's going to be in charge of our intelligence, and she is a Russian asset. It's awful.
Yeah, I mean, no one's going to share intelligence with us.
No, God no.
I know.
How is that not a national security threat that Republicans should at least pretend to care about?
It makes us incredibly vulnerable for an attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you expressed the very disturbing revelation that you found Luigiano Maggiano. What's his name? Luigi Maggiano.
See,
he's objectively attractive.
He is.
He is.
He's a good
You can't
looking
deny
He
that.
is. Yeah.
That has nothing to do with his
Do you want him to be your secondi?
murdering
or your
stuff.
You're primo. You're second.
I don't approve of his Goodreads list, but there's other things about him.
Dana Louise?
But yeah, he works out.
The brother of the Unabomber. I saw that shirtless picture. I was like, oh no.
God.
Oh, here come the gays.
Uh-huh.
The Unabomber's brother said he's pained at the idea that this Luigiano Maggione was inspired, by his brother, the Unabomber. I mean, this is part of, we had Frank Figluzzi on yesterday. This part of the problem, is the minute we kind of go, oh, it's okay, whatever your cause is okay to, cold-blooded murder.
Right.
It's going to inspire copycats.
Right. And I agree with that. I'm not saying what happens okay, but what bothers me is that MAGA out there going, we're disgusted that you're making him such a hero. Yeah, I've got two words for you. Kyle Rittenhouse.
I know. But I hate that when they go, the left is celebrating. I'm like, nobody decent that I know on the left is celebrating a murder.
No.
We all
this guy
agree the
had a
healthcare
family.
system is broken,
Absolutely. But he had a family. I also feel bad for Luigi. He had an incredible life probably ahead of him. He was a brilliant young man, and that's gone.
Valedictorian, but Ivy League. I mean, he doesn't fit the profile really of But I mean, what's broken is our system that that's how they make money, is denying people's claims. And now aren't they doing some of it by AI? It's not even a human.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. There's also a lot else to this story, like his family owning retirement homes and supposedly this health organization trying to buy them up. There's a lot to the story that people don't know about. But yes, he was using AI, and it had a 90% falter rate between approving and denying.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot wrong with all of this. A lot. But there's also a lot to the story that people don't know about unless you read it.
I have to find the letter. I had a listener that was worked as a claims adjuster, and he was just saying like that. He tried to act like it was his family and make empathetic decisions, and that they didn't want that where he worked.
No.
Like
They
no,
wanna make money.
Yeah.
But where are we as a society when we feel like we have absolutely no appeal to decisions like that except to take the life of a CEO?
Yeah, well, I mean, but the minute I draw a straight line to January 6th, and Trump saying like, oh, they had no choice. I mean, so if we're ready to say, oh, well, whatever your cause is just whatever fill in the blank,
Right.
it's okay.
I'm not saying that I approve of
violence
what he
is
did,
okay,
but that's the only recourse that he felt he had. It's wrong.
Yeah.
But
Listen, I'm a walking hypocrite. I'm a paradox. I don't think he should have shot him, but I think it's okay to punch Nazis. So there's that.
There you go.
Okay.
Actual Nazis, by the way, people. Not
who's
just
a bigger
MAGA out there.
Who's a bigger MAGA lunatic action star, Sylvester Stallone or Mel Gibson? Yes. Everybody.
Yes.
Who wants to?
Sylvester Stallone is more of an action star.
Mel Gibson's just an anti-Semitic.
So
exactly.
Mel Gibson
has been.
Was at Mar-a-Lago for a gala, also attended by Kid Rock and Tucker Carlson.
Not surprised.
Jesus.
Not surprised.
He went off on sex trafficking. He warned that he would have to kill someone if one of his 9 children became the victim of sex trafficking. He called Trump's incoming administration a 4-year grace period after living under thinly veiled Marxism with President Biden. Dear Jesus.
The call is coming from inside the house, and the house is Mar-a-Lago.
He said the president's got a big job on his hands to turn this place around. A lot of damage has been done. They continue to start fires like around my house. Is he talking about the Malibu fires? Is he saying liberals started the...
Yes.
He
did.
That's
lunatic.
What he was saying. Okay. DG Comedy, Daily Beans is the podcast.
Yes, the very successful podcast.
Dana Goldberg is the woman. We love you, Dana.
Love you all.